Dr. Peter Attia, dude, thank you for coming. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this. I'm really pumped. I read your book, so I'm kind of familiar with
thank you
your stuff,
so much.
and I kind of like what you're about.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing the podcast. And I guess I'll give you an introduction and correct me if I'm wrong. You were a medical doctor and you did cancer surgery, right?
A general surgery with a focus on cancer.
With the focus on cancer. And then you just kind of, I liked your origin story a lot. And so from what I remember in your book, you did this big swim, like it was like a marathon swim or something. And how far did you swim?
It was about 21 miles.
That's insane. So you did a 21-mile swim, and then, if I remember correctly, you were eating a cheeseburger in celebration. And your wife,
actually, that was a slightly longer swim. But yes. Now I know the story you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, that honestly, dude, that made me laugh so hard that you did like a what?
I think that was like 25 miles or something.
25-mile swim. You go out to have a cheeseburger and I believe a Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And your wife more or less was like, "You're fat."
Yeah.
Dude, that's the best. And then it launched you, and then you just got the ultimate revenge and started like a super successful business. How do you feel about that?
She was very sweet. She said, she didn't say you're fat. She goes, "You need to work on being less, not thin."
That's worse, though. I'd rather someone be like, "You fat ass," and be like, "You need to be less, not thin." But you just swam 25 miles.
Yeah. Well,
that's wonderful, though. That is good, though, to have a woman to push you to those heights. Because then is that really like the genesis of you kind of branching out into like...
I had actually already left medicine at that point. I had been out of medicine for 3 years. I was working at that time. God, what was I doing? I was working at an energy company, I think, or maybe I was in finance or something. I had nothing to do with medicine. But that was right around the time my daughter was born as well. And so I think that was kind of the 1-2 punch. It was sort of my daughter's born. And then I'm realizing actually like I'm not that healthy. Yeah. Even though I exercise a lot, I'm actually not that healthy. And that those two things were what kind of got me to be pretty obsessed with just trying to figure out how to not die prematurely.
The kids do that. I have a 2 and a 4-year-old, and that really kind of I actually thought you'll find this interesting. I thought I was healthy. I was doing the all these apps. Like I did the one where you like mail your poop and all that stuff. And I did that. They came back like, "Dude, you're like 6 years younger biologically." I was like, "Dude, this is awesome." I had the Aura thing. I had that going on, telling me I'm 7 years younger than my age. And then I took a blood panel. Dude, I'm like pre-diabetic.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, what the fuck, man? It was like, I thought I was like killing it. And I got it back and it was like, I literally just found out 2 days ago. So this timing couldn't be more perfect. My A1C, I think it was. My A1C is like 5.7, which was like, but I did eat 2 bites of a pancake before my blood work, which you're not supposed to do.
Shouldn't impact the A1C.
Damn it, dude. I was fucking hoping that was the answer. Yeah, so that is kind of crazy because and again, I don't, I'm not the definition of fitness, but I'm not like, I thought I had the almost type 2 diabetes.
Well, it takes a while. Like no one wakes up diabetic, but also most people don't recognize that it's a 10-year journey for most people.
Really?
To get there, yeah.
So what? I have like four more years of pre-diabetes?
No, I mean, I think that's impossible to predict for any one person, but we definitely know that disease is so much more complicated than people, I think, historically have thought of it. People have historically said, well, I mean, type 2 diabetes is your pancreas can't make enough insulin, you can't get enough glucose out of your blood into the muscles, and eventually we just cut off some arbitrary number. We just say once you reach a certain level of blood glucose, then you have type 2 diabetes. But, to me, that's just not a great way to think about it. I think of it as a continuum and a spectrum. And pre-diabetes is a step along the way, but we also know that the lower your blood sugar, the better. So 5.7 is better than 5.8 is better than 5.9. But even though we would call you quote unquote normal at 5.6, I would argue 5 is much better than 5.6.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it was like for real joke because I was like dancing in the end zone on my wife because she is her biological age, and I'm not rubbing it in, but it was like whatever. And I was like, I'm like 5 years older than her, so I was like her peer biologically. And I was laughing, I was
these biologic clocks things are such a scam. It is incredible.
Well, dude,
I love it.
Mine
I love it. I love it. It's brilliant marketing. It is brilliant marketing.
Well, I woke up one day and I went like I lost half a year of my biological age. I was like, what the fuck did I do? I went into a panic. But yeah, so that was like a real revelation for me. I was like, holy shit, man, because my dad has type 2 diabetes. And I was like, yeah, that's on him. He eats ice cream all the time. I'm healthy. And I like got my blood work and I was like, son of a bitch. By the way, I'm just breaking this right now. I don't
This is breaking news.
This is breaking news.
This is like so timely.
I have and I was actually, it is very timely. And I have been leveraging it emotionally in my household, which is nice. Anytime my wife bothers me, I'm like, dude, I have pre-diabetes. This cortisol is going to mess up my insulin. So
I got a text message literally on the way over here from a buddy who just got a vasectomy yesterday. And we had recommended the urologist to him who was going to do it. So he goes, look, I just want to tell you, man, literally the best experience ever. The guy was incredible, so funny. He's got me draped like over the table. So like, he's like, there's a drape, like I'm laying on my back.
Like
and
a C-section? They do like they don't let you see?
Yeah, it's like you're sterile.
Okay.
They want to keep you sterile, right?
Gotcha.
And the guy walks in the room first time. He hasn't seen me. He doesn't see my face. He just sees my schlong and he goes, oh, I remember you. But he was like, but it was just all jokes. And he says today, he goes, look, honestly, zero pain at all. But don't tell my wife. I am going to milk this as 10 out of 10 pain for another week.
So important.
Yeah.
So also the vasectomy, you can't ejaculate for like what, 7 days or something?
That's a good question. I don't know how many days.
Swear to God,
I don't know how many days. I don't know how many.
It's like 7. My friend did it. He
had to hold off. Yeah.
7 whole days. And he said he went a little prematurely and said he had a little bit of pain. So that's not good. But yeah, dude. So that was kind of crazy, man. Because I've been doing all the services because I haven't like been to a doctor in forever. Because I'm like, I go to it, and this is what I think was cool in your book. You have like, what was it, healthcare 2.0 versus like 3. What was the latest?
Yeah, medicine 2.0 versus medicine 3.0. Yeah.
So 3.0 is kind of where you're at. That's kind of more cutting edge. 2.0 is like what, a step up from like medieval humors and.
Yeah, but still important. I mean, we still want medicine 2.0. Medicine 2.0 will take care of a problem when it shows up.
Gotcha.
And if you're in a car accident, you break your leg, you get pneumonia, you want someone who knows how to deal with those problems. But it's a very different system from, hey, how do I take a guy whose hemoglobin A1C is 5.5, who everyone thinks is just perfect, but I think he's on the path to actually, being diabetic in 10 years. And why would I wait till he's staring down the door when I could just make the changes now?
Yeah, and that was kind of my beef with doctors. I would go there and they're like nice. I don't have anything against them, but I go there and they're just kind of like, yeah, your cholesterol is good. And I'm like, this is all we're worried about? Like this is it, and it's like, and then they lowered the window to like blood pressure. The one day I went in there and they're like, oh, by the way, high blood pressure is lower now. And I'm like, okay. I didn't have a blood pressure problem, but it's like I just feel like you go there and it's like you're like a car. You go in and they check like 2 things. You're like, yeah, you're good. But so I really liked your book, how you're like, you want to check for more things and try to increase the health span, not just the lifespan, which I like. Because a lot of people are very unhealthy. Yeah. I thought I was a poster child for health, dude. I'm one of the suffering Americans. Just, I need Michelle Obama to come make me lunch, dude. I'm fucked up right now. So what are you working on right now? Because the book, has anything changed from the book? And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the summary was like the 4 horsemen. That's the things that the 4 leading causes of death. And there are what? Heart disease?
Cancer,
neurodegenerative
diseases and dementing diseases like Alzheimer's disease and metabolic disease.
That's me. That's diabetes, right?
And they overlap.
Yeah.
So when you have type 2 diabetes, your risk of those other diseases goes up by 50%. So that one sort of feeds into the other. And also if you have cardiovascular disease, your risk of dementia goes way up. So.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Damn, that sucks. Yeah, and you know what's weird too? Because I don't want to turn this into like a personal doctor visit, but like I, for real, had like crazy brain fog. Like I was like messing up recalling words, and a lot of my mom's side had like dementia stuff when they got older. So I started being like, damn, I might be like getting like early dementia. And as soon as I learned about the high A1C, and I don't know if that's like high enough to cause brain fog. Like I was like, I forgot the word croissant. I was like trying to think of that word. Couldn't think of that. But as soon as I got off all the carbs and now I'm like basically doing like keto, my brain just like came right back to life. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that that's related to the A1C per se, but fluctuating levels of blood glucose make it just a little more difficult. And some people are more sensitive to it than others. Some people, they can eat all the carbs in the world and it doesn't seem to phase them. And a lot of people are like, no, the moment I go to slower carbs or just no carbs at all, or just more complex carbs, my energy levels normalize. And so too does my attention. Yeah,
dude, that happened for me. And I also don't have to eat as much. Like I was eating so much, man. It would be like 4 cups of rice. I was just pigging out.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I stopped eating that much carbs, I eat like 2 meals a day and they're pretty like sparse. So.
Tell me about these pictures here. What's
thank
the
you, man.
significance?
This I just figured it was funny because it's just kind of like a just an ample naked lady sitting at a picnic. So I I literally picked the pictures very quickly. This one I just wanted very intense imagery.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of like, this is pleasant. It's a little complicated. You have
What do you think's going on here? Why is she naked? And who are these guys?
These guys are up to no good for sure. I think these guys, it looks like they just got happened upon, and someone's going, "What the hell are you doing with that ample naked lady in the park?" And this guy's like,
but he's like fully dressed. And
yeah.
Who's the girl in the background?
So to answer your first question, this is a clothed male, naked female. It's a fetish. That's going on, and I think she's kind of like next. I think they're like, "Get over here, strip down, so we can have a naked picnic." This caused a serious uproar back in the day when this guy painted this. It was a problem.
I believe. I mean, I can see why.
They were like, if you had someone pose, this lady had to have been a prostitute, and they're like, "That's totally scandalous."
Yeah. What year approximately was this?
I wish I knew. I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say like maybe the late 1800s. If I had to guess, but I could be wrong. And that guy, I don't know what that guy's hat's all about over there, but
yeah, I mean, it's sort of. I don't want to profile him, but I have thoughts.
True, it is a hat. I don't recognize that hat, and I do have my own suspicions as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's like. I don't know what's going on. He seems kind of distracted. I think he's being caught. She's just kind of getting caught. There's just a lady in a pond, maybe, just kind of floating around.
Oh, that's interesting. So I see that now. I thought she was picking up apples, but maybe she's washing her hands.
Sure, well,
in the pond.
One could only guess why. But yeah, so that was cool. I thought that was a fun one. This is very intense. I like this, and then I just toss a little crucifixion up there.
Yeah, it's the rainbow crucifixion. I don't know my biblical history well enough to. I would embarrass myself if I asked dumb questions. But is there a rainbow after the crucifixion?
I would hope so. God was rising back to heaven 2 days before, so I'd hope that.
No, I thought it was 3 days after this.
3 days, my bad.
Yeah,
3 days.
So that foreshadowed maybe the resurrection. Is what
could be, yeah, could be.
Yeah,
but I honestly don't know. I don't have any real knowledge.
Can you imagine how brutal the world was when we crucified people?
I think about it all the time.
Like, how lucky are we to live in this candy ass world of softness?
Dude, I try to tell it to people, and I have people tell me.
I'm so grateful.
It's insane because I try to tell people, I'm like, dude, it was way different. And other people will be
like those guys were thieves, right?
Yeah.
Like that today, you wouldn't even go to jail.
Yeah,
in most cities.
Yeah, they'll kill you.
Yeah. And then you get crucified?
Yeah. And it also, the procession was like a pretty nasty part of it, too. Just to get walked through the streets, spit upon, rocks thrown at you.
I can't fathom.
Dude, the social anxiety back
And by the way,
then
that's only 2,000 years ago, which in the arc of human history is yesterday.
Nothing.
That's nothing.
That's what I try to tell people, man, because there's a lot of people who are like, everything's always been the same. It's just different variations on the same themes. And I'm like, dude, it's gotten so much different from 2,000 years ago. It can still get so much different.
Think about 500 years ago, right? Think about if you could be you, or you could be the king of England 500 years ago with it sounds great until you get like a dental abscess and you realize there's no AC, there's no heat, the food sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're going to be the king of England 500 years ago.
Yeah, the food still sucks in England now. Yeah, that's a good point because it's
probably pre-fish and chips.
Yeah, that would actually suck. I didn't ever thought about being like the king of another country, but it would be pretty terrible. There was a king in some medieval time, like longer ago than that, but they thought alcohol was like health stuff back in the day. It was like the spirit.
It kind of was because water was so contaminated, right?
Yeah.
So you basically had two broad cultures that emerged from either the fermentation of water, right, and alcohol to make to get rid of the bacteria, or tea, right? You have sort of the rise of the sort of tea culture where you boiled water. But yeah, the idea that you were just going to go and drink water was like, I mean, the fact that we're sitting here drinking this is incredible.
It's pretty tight, actually. But yeah, they had a king. They were like, they rubbed him down in like brandy, maybe. And then they were like, all right, we're going to like rub this all over his body. And like a candle got too close and just burnt the guy alive. And all the high priests or whatever had to be like, you must have been fucking evil.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
no one put two and two together. They didn't understand exothermic chemical reactions.
Damn, dude. So let me ask you this. What is the gist of your book is basically, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the gist was basically like, we can pre-screen better and we can kind of promote wellness rather than waiting till somebody has like a horrible, often irreversible disease and like try to fix it through kind of like nuking the
Yeah,
territory.
and part of it is like, what gets measured gets managed. And so Medicine 2.0 measures lifespan as the ultimate outcome, which is, that's been productive. That's a good thing to measure. I'm not suggesting we shouldn't care about lifespan, because 150 years ago, lifespan was 40 years. Today it's 80. That's insane. We
Pretty
doubled
cool.
lifespan. And that's all due to Medicine 2.0. Basically figuring out how to not kill women when they gave birth to children, how to keep babies alive when they were born, how to fight infections, how to wash our hands, like that, and a little bit of stuff around trauma and critical care. Like, you doubled human lifespan. But we're not managing health span. And so part of the argument is, okay, we've done pretty well on lifespan. We could do better, but we really have to manage health span.
Yeah.
And so if we think about things that make up health span, it's sort of like, how much muscle mass do you have? How strong are you? How much endurance do you have? How much flexibility and balance do you have? How quick is your cognitive performance? How happy are you? How are your relationships? How much joy do you have in your life? These things are softer and squishier. Some of them are pretty easy to measure, like VO2 max and muscle mass and strength. Some of them are harder to measure, like cognitive performance. But if you don't measure something, there's no chance you're going to manage to it. And I would just argue we have to slightly tilt in the direction of doing more on that front.
Yeah, it'd also be cooler to go to the doctor and have him like hit the treadmill. Let's check your VO2 max.
Yeah, let me
Let's
see
do
how
this.
long you can dead hang for. Let me see your grip strength.
That'd be
Like,
so much better than sitting there and just being like basically getting molested and leaving. That's all you do. You go there and they're like, all right, we're gonna. What is the coughing? Why do they do that? Why do they hold your?
It's funny. I thought you were going to ask me to do it to you earlier when you said this is not an appointment. I literally thought you were going to whip your junk out and have me check.
I'm just going just for the A, dude. You got to do the butt.
They're checking for a hernia.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But why is that like the top of the pops? And
Yeah,
like, there's so
exactly.
much other things to check. It's like we're not going to do all this other stuff that'd be useful. We're just
not going to look at a bunch of things, but I do want to stick my finger in the inguinal canal.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make you cough.
I'm glad they do that, but it's like, why did that get picked as opposed to all of his other stuff you're talking about? Do you think it has something to do with like just like institutional, just repressed homosexuality throughout the entire culture? And that was like,
I don't know. But I will say this, like, I can't tell you how many rectal exams I've done. And then I realized, like, I mean, technically a good urologist will tell you that their finger is good enough to truly feel a prostate cancer that would otherwise not be picked up on a PSA or some other test. And I'll take them at their word. But I think for the rest of us who don't do 20 a day, yeah, I don't think my finger is good enough.
Don't say that.
I mean, I'll work harder, but
yeah, that's crazy. So they're saying they can just feel like it's just
they've said, like, look, man, there's always that one case that slips through the crack where the guy has a normal PSA, no pun intended. Yeah, jeez.
So they can tell, yeah.
But they're like, yep, if you feel a certain type of super hard nodule on the prostate, that would be suspicious.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I think they really could if doctors would embrace that. It'd be so much more fun. You go, you kind of run on the treadmill, dead hang. They can talk to you a little bit about it. It just seems so kind of sterile.
Plank. Yeah, there's like a bunch of basic
awesome.
tests. Everybody should be able to. We should be able to see the people do. I completely agree.
Yeah, I don't. That's so. I did really like your book for that reason. Hopefully, that kind of stuff takes. So if that's the scope of the book, where do you stand now? Has anything changed in that time, or is there anything that's like latest and greatest that's kind of like blowing your mind right now?
I think my thinking is always evolving. I would say, if I were writing that book today, I would actually kind of add a fifth horseman, which is anything that pertains to a weakened immune system. So I'm just getting over a cold because I have 3 kids and 2 of them are young. So basically, I'm always in the face of like some virus, right?
Yeah.
So twice a year, I always get some stupid cold, and it's no big deal. It starts in my throat, blah blah blah. It gets into my lungs. I hack up a bunch of junk, and then I'm fine. But anyone who's been around older folks realizes that that's the kind of thing that can tip them over the edge when they're 80 years old.
Yeah.
A really bad infection, a flu, COVID, things that us, 50-year-olds laugh at can become deadly. And so from a research perspective, this is something I'm super interested in, is how do we regenerate the immune system? So, I'm in my 50s, my immune system's also in its 50s. Would it be amazing if when I'm in my 80s, I could still have an immune system that's maybe like in my 50s or 40s? The effect that would have against, mitigating the risk of fatal pneumonias, infections, and even cancers is huge, because the immune system is the first line of defense against cancer.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Is that it? Didn't they used to use like fevers for that too? They would induce fevers to try to kill certain types of cancer.
Yeah, and it wasn't very successful because it's so non-specific.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cancer is the only way for the immune system to eradicate cancer is you have to get the very, very, very specific T cell that recognizes exactly that cancer, and you have to figure out a way to make enough of them that it, wins that war. And that rarely happens spontaneously. I mean, the cases are, documented in the literature. They're so rare, but we now have drugs that can make that happen in about 10% of cases.
That's
which is
cool.
huge.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So how would you what's your research yielded? How do you think you can bolster the immune system, or like?
I mean, it depends I don't know how technical the audience wants to get into this stuff, but so stop me when this has become unbearable.
For sure.
So we have DNA. Okay. So everyone's heard of DNA. DNA is the code that tells every cell how to make a protein. So what tells DNA to turn on and off are something called methylations, little carbons that stick on the backbone, or something called the epigenome. So DNA is regulated through this methylation pattern. And as we age, that changes.
Gotcha.
So we can look at a T cell, which is the type of cell that fights a cancer or an infection, and we can say, that's what an old one looks like. That's what a new one looks like. Even though the DNA is the same, the epigenome above the genome, this methylation pattern looks different. And so the question is, what if we took the methylation pattern of an old T cell and made it look like a young T cell? Would it revert into a young T cell? So to me, that's certainly top 2 or 3 most interesting questions in aging research today.
That's pretty cool. And that makes sense, because it's like the DNA, you're born with it, and then the epi layer, that's like the kind of like pattern that's affected through the environment.
That's what regulates it, exactly.
Yeah. And then so if you can kind of get into that, and then so you could, and it was stress too, because I noticed that was a big thing in your book. So, and you can stress yourself to the point where your epigenome will just start being like,
everything in the environment can affect that. So it's affected just naturally through aging. So the passage of time affects it, but so does anything in the environment. So whether you exercise, whether you smoke, whether you have diabetes or not, all of those things, good sleep, bad sleep, high stress, low stress, anything can tweak that in the right or wrong direction.
Damn. Okay. That's pretty cool. So you're saying,
but the gravitational pull of age is huge. And that's the one I'm most interested in, is like, how would you, because even the healthiest 80-year-old has nowhere near the immune system of an unhealthy 30-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. And we saw that everyone was hoping against hope that Mike Tyson would just knock out Jake Paul, and that was kind of like a bitter moment for a lot of people.
Yeah, you can't, like, age is not,
like, just can't do it.
Yeah, as Father Time is undefeated, as everybody said.
Yeah, even with like the TRT, what are your thoughts on that? Like, in terms of like, what age to kind of smash the glass and just go full upgrade?
I don't know that there's an age I would do it. I mean, I think the things that I would, I had a long talk with a patient yesterday about this exact question, and he's pretty young. He's like 36. Does not have kids, but wants to have kids. Yeah. So that's a huge consideration. So in his situation, I would say like TRT is not a good idea. I suggested that he bank sperm. And if he wants to go down that rabbit hole, and by the way, I don't think he needs to, because I don't think his levels are like kind of 50th percentile. He's not terribly symptomatic. I would kind of eke out a bit more time, but I would rely on hormones that are going to ramp up his body's production of testosterone, as opposed to just giving him testosterone, which will shut off his body's supply
forever.
No, and it's not something that happens overnight. Like he'd have to be on testosterone for a while before he would shut down his own production.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? On like that whole thing, especially for 30-year-olds? Do you think it's like good to kind of have that, or do you think it like should be kind of a long road?
I think you got to take every case individually, but if a 30-year-old has testosterone that is so low that it's impacting him, I think you have to start by asking why.
Right.
Like, how bad is his sleep? How bad is his stress? How bad is every other factor going on? I mean, when I finished, when I was, leaving my residency, my testosterone was 227, I think, which is insanely low. That's only 2.5 times higher than a woman.
What?
Yeah.
Is that why doctors' hands are so soft every time you shake them? Damn,
No,
that's crazy.
That's for the rectal exam. So you just don't get
That's true. That's true. You wouldn't want like my dad's
no,
finger.
but the reason is pretty clear, right? Because I was sleeping 28 to 30 hours a week.
Damn.
Right. So, horrible sleep deprivation is going to make it really difficult to make appropriate levels of testosterone.
And that makes it harder for you to sleep too when your testosterone gets lower?
I think probably a little bit, but the causality is much more in the opposite direction, meaning the horrible sleep is destroying
I see.
the production of testosterone and growth hormone. But of course, at the time, it never occurred to me to do anything about it, and once I, was in a job where I could actually sleep each night, lo and behold, my testosterone kind of normalized.
It peaked up.
Yeah.
What do you think that's a good thing for people to actually look at? Because I always get the feeling that like if you even go into one of those places, they're going to hard sell you and you'll be on the tee like before you know it.
I think you should not go to, I'm trying to think of the right analogy. If you walk into a store that only sells hammers, everything's a nail.
Yeah.
Right. So I think if you walk into a tea shop and all they do is male hormone optimization, I would say buyer beware.
Yeah.
Because even if they internally have the best of intentions, like I just don't think they can get out of their own way. Yeah. I also think you should be very wary of going to a place for any sort of therapy where they're selling you the therapy.
True.
Like if my whole shtick is I'm here to, give you the best hormones or supplements or whatever, and oh, by the way, on your way out, we'll sell them to you. It's just such a conflict of interest.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
so what do you think about even the internet companies that are like I did one. I don't know if it's nice to like name it or not, but like the ones that like you mail like stool sample, blood, saliva, and they're like, here's precision supplements for you and you alone. How do you think they're like? How much of that is kind of generic, and do you think some of those companies are really dialed in or like?
I don't doubt that there are ways to kind of sort of optimize supplements around biomarkers. I'm not sure that it's as precise as people want to believe. Yeah. I certainly don't think that. I actually think you can do a lot of supplement optimization off really basic blood work. Like I don't think, certainly, a stool sample is not necessary because most probiotics can't even provide the bacteria you need to impact it. I mean, your diet has a far greater role. Your fiber content has a far greater role on your gut biome and things that you'd be measuring in stool. And obviously saliva, blood, urine can measure things that are relevant and interesting. There aren't that many things that I think are worth taking. Like I think, if you're low in vitamin D and you're not getting enough sunlight, that makes sense, but that's a pretty simple blood test. If your homocysteine is elevated, you probably should take some methylated B vitamins. And if you drop it by more than 5 or 6 points, you're probably doing a lot. If your omega levels are low, fish oil probably helps if you're not willing to eat 3 servings of fish a week.
Right.
But the true basics of this are really simple. And then there's other supplements that probably make sense for most people, and you don't even need to test for them. Like anybody who's active could probably justify taking creatine.
Yeah.
And there's no blood test that's going to tell you whether or not you need it. We just know that, to fill and saturate total body storage, you're going to need 3 to 5 grams per day. So,
Really? That was surprising. That was like something I heard like in college, like, years ago when I'd lift weights. It was like creatine was almost like viewed as like a serious kind of like bodybuilder supplement. Now everything I read is like, no, everyone needs a ton of creatine.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, if you're playing the game of optimizing, you're going to get a benefit, probably about a 10% boost in performance for intensity and like super short intensity, i.e. the creatine phosphate energy system. So kind of like high bursts of, 10-second work, and then anaerobic stuff. It's not going to improve much aerobically, but and you'll also get a little hypertrophy benefit because the muscles will get bigger when they bring more water in.
That makes sense. Yeah, if like my kids are like 7 feet away and they're not listening, I could just fucking run at them.
Easy.
Like, the fuck are you doing?
Easy.
Just hulk them down. Yeah, that's my thing with fitness. A lot of people, and I'm sure I don't know if you've heard this. You're kind of I'm sure your like listenership is very health oriented, but a lot of people get very like, I don't know, like very kind of scoffed. They kind of scoff a lot of this stuff where they're like, who gives a shit? And it's like, and I feel bad because like, I do get it. If you're like in a job you hate, you're just totally crushed down by like your life circumstance, having somebody be like, dude, eat a banana and do jumping jacks. You're gonna be like, dude, fuck you. I don't want to think about this. But it also will make your life better. Like I always like whenever I lose sight of that, whenever I get too into my own like just stuff where I'm like, this isn't going well. I don't have time. If I just take like an hour, even a half an hour, and just like run as fast as I can, it's like I feel like amazing.
Yeah.
And I always say that's like a nice dimension you can add to your life where it's like everyone's like, like I want to get better in my job, blah, blah, blah. It's like just adding that, like time yourself running 100 meters and then try to get a better time next week. It gives you something you're kind of making progress in. And it also, you feel great as a result.
Yeah. I think this is where kind of social media really distorts reality. And the example you give is a great one, right? So if your health sucks and you're trying to figure out where you're going to find an extra 2 hours a week to do some form of self-care, the last thing you need is some idiot influencer telling you to spend more time in the sauna and cold plunging. Like, I can promise you that is not the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth best use of your time if you only have 2 hours a week.
How would you break it down then?
If you've only got, I would start with let's do the absolute basics of blocking and tackling. So first thing I want to know is, are you getting at least 7 hours of sleep a night? Because if you're not getting at least 7 hours of sleep a night, it's going to be very difficult for you to do anything at your best.
So I don't want to interrupt you. My question with that is, say you are tracking your sleep and you only get like 43 hours of deep sleep every night, even though you go to bed at like a proper time. Does that matter as much of like REM versus deep sleep, or like?
I assume you mean 43 minutes, but
43 minutes. Yeah. I wish it's fucking 43.
I only get 43 hours of deep sleep a year. I'm doing the math quickly. Oh god. I don't know. If a person says, I feel really well, and there are these, I link to them in the book. There are a whole bunch of surveys you can get for free that just have you do these are validated surveys that kind of go through daytime drowsiness and stuff like that. If you're in bed 7 to 7.5 hours a night, ideally 8, and your little sleep tracker says you're sleeping 7, but you're not happy with your stages, I wouldn't put a lot of stock into that unless you feel that there is a problem.
Got you.
But if you're like, no, I feel fine, and I fill out all the 2 surveys and they said I'm doing fine, ignore the data.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and stop wearing the tracker.
I know. I gotta stop.
Done with the tracker. So
I was checking every day. I'm like, 43 fucking minutes.
Yeah. Like, it just creates more anxiety.
It's just red. I see red numbers. And I'm like, fuck.
I haven't used one of those in a longer time than I can remember.
Yeah.
So
just do the basics.
The next bucket. So then the next bucket I want to know is, what's your physical activity level? So let's say this is a person who's got none. They're doing none. And they say, look, I've only got 2 extra hours. I'm putting that entire 2 hours into exercise. So I'm going to say, we're going to do 4 30-minute workouts a week. And, again, I'd have to know more about the person, but it could easily end up being, we're going to do 2 cardio sessions a week. We're going to do 2 strength sessions a week. One of those cardio sessions per week is going to be kind of aerobic base training, where you're going at the same intensity the whole time. It's not that high. You can still sort of almost carry out a conversation. It's a little hard to talk, but you could. And then the other cardio session I would do, say 3 days off of that, would be more interval, kind of like what you were describing. So let's get on if you're at a gym and they have one of those air bikes, do something there, be on a treadmill, be outside. It doesn't really matter. Like the goal, this person will get so much benefit from 2 hours a week of exercise that it almost doesn't matter what they do. And then the other 2 days a week, I'd have them do 2 30-minute whole body workouts at a gym where they never stop moving.
Okay.
So if you're doing it at home, it might be push-ups, pull-ups, wall sits, something like that. If you're at the luxury of being at a gym, you might just rotate machine to machine to machine and never stop. And that would just bring huge dividends. And then the last thing I'd do is, in addition to that, is just do a quick audit of their diet. Yeah. Are you overweight? Are you adequate weight? Are you underweight? That determines whether you need to eat more or less. And then, are you getting enough protein? And honestly, I wouldn't make it much more detailed than that. And so, look, with just a little bit of that insight, you've made better use of 2 hours a week. You've got them to stop worrying about their sleep. You've maybe changed 3 little things in their diet. I promise you that person in 3 months is going to feel significantly better. And then maybe, by the way, at that point, they're like, you know what? I wouldn't mind doing 3 hours a week of this exercise thing because I'm feeling kind of good. And you know what? I kind of want to dial the diet in a little bit more. But again, the problem is too many people are consuming information that says, oh my God, you need to be on this supplement. You need to be on this supplement. You need to be doing 30 minutes of this type of sauna and 20 minutes of this type of cold plunge. And people are like, shut up.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
I can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, and to be clear, I love sauna and I love cold plunge.
Sure.
But it is like the 20th thing on my list of 21 things
Mhm.
that is a part of my routine.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. That's actually cool to hear because it is like the solution is pretty basic and simple, and that's the thing that gets me bummed out when, like, you know, because I do think we live, and I could just be wrong, but I feel like we live in a pretty nihilistic kind of age, and it's like it does suck when that spreads. It's like a physical nihilism. Like, what the fuck's the point of even? It's like, dude, you'll feel so much better if I don't work out. I get depressed. It's like A to B easily. If I don't do it for like 2 weeks, I'm just like depressed and sad, and it's like, and if you don't do it, it's just you feel terrible, and I always like to try to, you know, like just get up and move your fucking body, man. There's so much, it's so much better than
we were meant to move.
We were
meant to be outside. That might be the other thing I would add is figure out a way to do something outdoors, like whether it's a quick walk or incorporate some of that exercise outdoors.
You know what I started doing? Skateboarding. At my ripe old age of 38, I started.
Took it out.
I just took it back. I've been doing it when I was little, I just started it, and it's weird. That's a real eye opener when you take an activity you did in childhood effortlessly. And like, let me try this again at 38. Dude, I swear I burnt 900 something calories. I skateboarded for an hour and 20 minutes, and I was dying.
That's
like,
awesome.
Cardio wise, I was just doing like a little pump track where you kind of just like ride up on a wall. Dude, I thought I was gonna die. I used to do this all day when I was younger. Now I'm like, it's like a real eye opener to be like, all right, where am I at? Because I do feel like, especially, I guess men and maybe women do it too, but men specifically over index. Like, I'm good. And it's like, try something that you did when you were younger, and you're like, holy shit, I'm gonna my heart rate was at like 170 the whole time, just skateboarding. And I was barely pushing. I just had to like balance myself on this track. It was amazing though. I agree with you. It's like, find something, you know, to do and just kind of, I don't know. I feel like, I do feel like we get too tunnel visioned into like the career stuff, and it's like, you need to do that to survive. But it's like the sacrifice of hours of time for like the quote unquote rest time into like physical activity just pay dividends and all the other things you're trying to do anyway. But
yeah,
I always sound like a broken record, but I'm like, dude, it's so important, man. It really is. So yeah, skateboarding's awesome. We should go one time. Do you skate?
Nope, I do not at all.
Have you ever?
Nope. And it's funny. I mean, growing up, I was certainly of that age when a lot of kids were skateboarding. I don't know why, it just never appealed to me.
Yeah.
I was sort of busy in my own little world. My daughter did for a little bit. She's 16 now, but she did probably like when she was 12, 10, 11, 12, she was pretty into it. The coolest thing I've picked up recently, though it's not a physical activity, but I'm freaking obsessed with it, is chess.
Really?
Holy cow.
How are you pretty good?
No, I'm horrible. I mean, I'm
pretty
just
bad.
learning, but I love it. Like,
Yeah.
I can't stop playing. I
Yeah.
just can't stop.
Who are you playing against?
I'm just playing my boys.
Really?
Literally, just the three of us.
Phone
just go back
chess
and forth.
or
no,
physical
like on
chess?
the board.
That's good. Yeah.
Writing down every move, studying our moves after.
Really?
Like nerding out, watching YouTube videos. I'm obsessed with this guy, Magnus Carlsen, who's the best chess
I've
player
heard
in the
of him,
world.
actually, yeah.
Dude, I can't stop watching chess porn.
Really?
Can't stop.
That's awesome.
Can't stop.
That's awesome.
You know how YouTube figures out what you're about? Like
Yes.
my videographer for our podcast,
Mhm.
he pulls me aside like 3 weeks ago, goes, are you getting into chess? And I'm like, how do you know? He goes, because like I'm managing our YouTube channel, and like it only populates it's just like pushing chess stuff all day.
That's
And I was
awesome.
Like, yeah, dude, I can't stop.
It is good for your
I
brain,
stay up
though.
at night like watching chess videos.
Do
It's
you
awful.
really?
Oh, it's awful. I'm like, it's 9:30. I should go to bed.
What's your opening move? What do you go with?
Oh, I'm typically like E4. You know, but I like to castle really early. So I'm going to try to castle within about within 4 or 5 moves if I'm doing a kingside castle.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the first move, the horse, just over your pawns and be like, what's up?
Yeah.
It's called, there's a name for it. I forget what
There
it's called.
is.
It's like the
Yeah.
English or something, but
Horse.
the horse. I just fucking bang. Here's my motherfucking horse.
Yeah. No, the knight's cool because again, he can hop over people.
You
It's
move in
awesome.
that fucked up L-shaped pattern. But yeah, I love chess too. That is fun. I just say, I don't have anyone to play it with. That's the thing. It's like, it's how long does a chess game take?
One of my boys is super aggressive, so the games are quick because he just comes
Really?
out swinging.
Does he really?
Oh, he swings.
I like that.
He goes for the fences.
Does he?
And then the other one is so conservative and so thoughtful that the games take like so long. And I got us a little timer too. So I'm like, buddy,
That's
you have
nice. Yeah.
2 hours to make the first 40 moves or you're disqualified.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, you got to think on your feet.
And the younger one, the one who's super aggressive, is so competitive. Like if anyone in our family ever makes it and becomes like great, it's him. because you can't like hit the fire is insane.
Really?
When he loses, he tears up his sheets, and I'm like, buddy, you shake my hand, and we had a good game. And he's like, and he's just losing his mind that he lost a game of chess.
It's war, yeah, it's war. Is it true that the possibilities of the chessboard are kind of infinite?
They
in a
are
way?
truly infinite.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a computationally infinite problem.
Damn.
Or as close to, I mean, I shouldn't say infinite, right? In that AI can,
yeah,
but it's from a practical perspective, I think it's infinite.
Damn, that's awesome. That is cool. I'm going to try it. My kids are too young for that. My daughter did a like one.
Your
of those,
oldest is 6?
4.
Oh, 4. Okay.
4. 6 could be 6 is doable. 4
6 is totally doable.
I did chess. We did one of those big ones. We were on vacation and we did one of those like those like huge outdoor chess boards with the big pieces.
Yeah.
We did it and I tried with my 4-year-old, and by the end of it, it was like the mommy and daddy were the queen and king were mommy and daddy, and the pawns were all of our babies. And I was like, all right, man. The hell, it sucks. But yeah, man, that is amazing.
I once made the mistake of in a game, like one of my older one, the one who's more conservative, like he had a rook, knight, bishop in the back that hadn't moved, and it was like 25 moves in, and I'm like, buddy, those guys over there are standing there like they got their thumbs up their butts, and now those 2 boys cannot stop saying that. They just walk around anytime someone's not moving. Why do you have your thumb up your butt? And my wife's like, why do you say this stuff to them? Like, you can't say anything like that. They're just going to say whatever you say.
I know. It's weird. It's weird because my 4-year-old is like language police in our house. She like will learn that something's bad, and then she's just like horrified of the idea of saying it. And she's like, if she hears us saying anything like we even say the word hate. I don't know where we didn't. This wasn't a rule for us. Like, oh, I hate that. She'll be like, don't say that. And she like polices our language. If we say like that, my wife said freaking the other day. And she's like, Mom, that's a bad word.
It's a bad word. Yeah.
Like, no, it's not. And she's like, and I was arguing. My wife's like, no, just give her that one. She's like, it's pretty nuts. But yeah, that is true. They do parrot everything. You really do got to watch what you say, because you can say whatever you want around them for the longest time, and eventually you're like, oh shit, you can talking shit on my neighbors. You can hear this. You can hear this right now.
Our youngest one, when this is the super aggressive one, so it's not surprising. I think when he was like 3, we get a call from the preschool, and they're like, yeah, you got to come and get him. My wife's like, what's going on? They're like, he said the F word.
Whoa.
My wife's like, oh, I'll be right there, but
they made you get him for that?
Yeah, I'm like, this is a misunderstanding. And my wife's like, first of all, the kid is obsessed with rhyming. So he almost assuredly was like, truck, fuck, or something like that. And the woman is like, no. He's actually the first kid we've ever heard use it properly.
Oh, no.
They're like, what was the situation? And they're like, well, he was in circle time, and we were telling all the kids they had to be quiet, and he wasn't being quiet. And we're like, hey, if you're not quiet, you're going to have to get up and leave. And he wouldn't be quiet. So we got up and made him leave, and he stood up apparently and just goes, fuck it. And then walked and got out of the corner.
Like, that's a coincidence.
Yeah. I'm like, I think he learned that from his mom.
Yeah, my daughter nailed she dropped something one time when she was really little, and she was like, shit. And I was like, damn it. That was right on
That's
the money.
on me. Yeah.
I was like, that was right on the money.
Yeah.
So they made you, what are you, like, it was like a 1-day suspension?
Yeah, it was like he's on probation now. I mean, it was like, we ended up finding another preschool for him that he did great in.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's insane to like be like, you got to come get this kid.
Yeah.
Although that could spread like wildfire amongst other people. This is all,
yeah, I guess I can see it from their point as well.
No, that's lame. That's crazy to be like, he must leave right now. But I think they got to let that kind of stuff go. That is tricky though, man, because especially at that age, it's like kids hit other kids, and like, some people are like, this is like, you can't. It's like, but I don't know. I treat it like the dog park. It's like, they'll figure it out, man. If it's really bad,
there's got to be enough discomfort in the situation for the kids to evolve.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, because it's like, dude, you got to they're going to do that, man. It's like, me and my cousin got separated, and we were in kindergarten together. And then we went to the same school the next year, and they were like, AM class, BM class. They can't be with each other at all. But I thought it turned out all right. So before you get out of here, we're coming up on, where are we at right now, Josh? I don't want to keep you too long. Huh? 45. Perfect. The one thing that I feel like was in the book a lot, you talked about how, and again, always correct me if I'm wrong, because I have stuff in my head. Stress was something was really on the back burner that you kind of put to kind of like the forefront of your thinking from like the day-to-day and a health perspective. How where do you kind of stand on that? And like, what's like, do you have any thoughts on that at all?
When I think about like what is the thing that's going to kill me fastest, I think it's undoubtedly stress. I just think it's, I think it's the most insidious killer in a way because it's the hardest thing to measure directly.
Mm-hmm.
You can sort of measure some of its indirect actions, like on blood pressure and blood sugar, which both go in the wrong direction when stress is high. But I think there's even components of it that just, even when blood sugar and blood pressure are normal, I still think it's just doing something to your brain, probably, and to your heart. And again, I don't think anybody would feel good living in a zero stress environment. Mm-hmm. So it's mostly just about kind of managing how one responds to it. And I think it goes beyond just stress. I think it's sort of like just overall like satisfaction in life and contentment and, enjoying your relationships with people. I interviewed this guy on my podcast, Bill Perkins, who wrote this incredible book. It's one of my favorite books. It's called Die with Zero. Mm-hmm. And he writes about how you have basically you have time, you have money, and you have experiences. And he talks about through health. So health, time, and money.
Okay.
And you're not optimizing for the most of any one of those. You're optimizing for the net of fulfillment.
Okay.
So too many people miss that, right? They're just like working really, really hard to get as much money as possible or as much fame as possible. Or they're like maniacally focused on their health. And that's the only thing they think about.
Right.
Or they're just trying to, live as long as possible or make as much time for certain things. But it's kind of like how you put all those things together to optimize around fulfillment. So in this book, he writes about this idea of like people aren't doing the equation correctly. They're deferring too many experiences when they're young to do when they're old, but then they don't realize when they're old, their health is actually they're not actually able to do it when they have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
They can't go and take the incredible vacation, or if they can, their kids aren't with them or their kids aren't young. So I think it's just kind of reframed a lot in my mind and made me realize that, when our kids are young and we are incredibly healthy, that should be the time that we invest more in fulfillment and experiences as a family. Which has just been a completely different mindset for me from where I was most of my life.
Yeah. Just going kind of like full blast. Make as much money as possible.
Sleep when I'm dead.
That's a big one. Sorry about that bug, dude. That bug won't leave you alone. It hasn't even come over to me at all.
I must stink.
Yeah, that is kind of a cool thing too, man. Because you don't really, it's also something you don't really learn. Like nobody really tells you how to manage your stress. You kind of mostly, from what I gather, you kind of just like watch your parents deal with stress and you're like, all right. And you just kind of like take those patterns and just apply them to your life. And it's like, it really does like, what I've been trying to do recently is like, just take one day out of the week. Usually it's Sunday because like we're all off, everyone's hanging out. And I just try to focus on like being as calm and at ease. That's like top priority of my day. Usually it's like, I got to get this done. I got to this done. And like on one day a week, I'll be like, I'm only focused today. My number one goal is to try to like stay in a state of like ease and kind of contentment. And if I get out of it, I like before I'm like, I just try to zero in on that. And that's been kind of like, for me, that's been like a bit of a revelation to be like, oh, I can move through like multiple days without completely spinning myself the fuck out. And, it's been, I don't know, it's been kind of nice.
And what do you think spins you out? Is it just busy? It's too much?
Yeah, it's
or
too
is there
much.
A particular thing?
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. It could be my kids not listening, kind of spins me out. If I'm like trying to get up the steps and it takes 40 minutes, and I'm kind of like, all right, like let's go. Could be anything. Could be like overwhelmed, like just like situations at work I got to deal with that are just completely overwhelming. Stuff in the house, it's just like lack of sleep. 'Cause our kids are still so little that like our sleep gets fucked up. But yeah, it is. It's usually like relational stress or just like work stuff. Those are the two main things that kind of like can really spin me out.
And I would argue that most work stress is relational as well. So I kind of agree. I think relationships are both the best part of life and the most stressful part of life.
Yeah, I agree. So that's been my.
That's what's going on here, by the way. A lot of relational stress in that film. I can tell you right now.
That is true. But yeah, that's kind of the thing, man. It's like, well, this is my whole point is like, you do have some say in how much a thing can everything can floor you. Things come out of nowhere and you're like, you get caught in it, but just learning how to be like, all right, something got me. It's like laser tag. Like my thing's beeping. I can kind of walk myself through this without like going on like a Godzilla path. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. That's been pretty helpful for me before I get caught. That's my ultimate fate. She's like, babe, I'm having a naked picnic with a prostitute. She's right there and coming out of the water, just hawking me.
It's not what it looks like.
But yeah, that is the number one, man. It's like, dude, it's like managing stress, keeping yourself physically fit, because you can't, like, otherwise, like, what the fuck are we doing, man? It's like, it's like, unless I mean, some people are just surviving, which is kind of, that sucks. But I don't know. I feel like I feel like people, there's other countries where people are just surviving, but they still do cool stuff. Yeah. They have like big ornate jugs of water and they carry it around. They like dance and stuff. I don't know. It's kind of sick. I'm just trying to make people happy. I don't know how to do it. Well, dude, I mean, is there anything else that's kicking in your mind?
I don't think so.
Well, I think you did it. Thank you for coming and doing this. I apologize for the strange format, but how do you feel about standing in podcasting?
I think it's hilarious. I think it is. This is the first standing podcast I've ever done.
Bro, it's not bad. How do you feel about it, honestly? You can hurt my feelings. If you
honestly,
don't like it.
I think I have better posture than I normally do.
That's what I'm saying. When you're sitting on a podcast, you're kind of like slouching forward. Yeah. Standing keeps you on your feet. It keeps the mind sharper.
Like, I feel like we're doing a political debate the way they're angled at each other, too. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I need a moderator to ask me a question. That's the only thing that it would have been a little better if it was moderated. If this discussion was moderated.
That's a good
and more heated.
That's true. Yeah. That is true. I want to work on being less
I wouldn't
chill.
mind a teleprompter next time, if you wouldn't mind.
Teleprompter is nice.
So I want a teleprompter there, moderator there, a little more.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we could bring some heat.
Yeah.
We could bring some heat to this. If you want the heat, I have some burning hot questions. I didn't ask them. They're about a lawsuit, so I was like, I don't. Why can't everyone? You can't talk about lawsuits. No one can ever talk about them.
I know the lawyers say no.
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
What's the point? Bring awareness.
Bring awareness.
Yeah, I did. I was researching. Just when you have someone on the scene, I saw you're embroiled in a lawsuit, and I said, hell yeah, dude, that's what's up. So, but we won't. I mean, the lawyers won't like that. That is bullshit. You can't talk. I mean, dude, don't do it. But that is like, why? What the fuck's the problem? I don't know. Whatever. But anyway. Well, dude, thank you. Dude, is there anything you want to plug? Is there the book? Obviously, read the book, dude.
Read the book. Listen to the podcast.
Peter, to you. Thank you so much. All right, Sagar, thank you, dude. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I like your setup.
Thank you, man.
Fun, yeah.
Thank you. It's
since I'm in politics, I kind of think
that's what I'm saying.
I vibe with the set more.
I think it's a good look for you too, dude. I think you look good on that.
Really?
Dude, there's something.
See, now I feel really self-conscious. I should have worn my suit. The only reason I didn't is because I'm going out after this. I'm like going to be about the town.
For sure. Yeah.
You don't want to be walking around Austin, Texas,
just sweating.
I did it yesterday after Lex Friedman's podcast, and I was getting a lot of looks.
You guys both wore suits?
Yes, we both wore suits. That's right.
That's kind of nice.
But his is the black suit. His is different. He has like a uniform.
He does.
And I like to change it up.
He's like an alien fighter. Yeah. He dresses like Will Smith from Men in Black.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of, there's something nice about that. I've always wanted to do the Steve Jobs thing where I wear the same thing every day.
You could do it. I think you could do it.
I feel like I could. I know one guy who's been wearing all white for 7 years, and I might jack his swag.
In comedy, do you think it is useful to have a uniform or no? Because I noticed that comedians have been getting very like fashion forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll go to a set and I'm like, honestly, what he's wearing is kind of distracting me right now.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I mean, I have like a loose uniform. It's just jeans, usually these sneakers, and I just switch a plain colored t-shirt.
That's fine. See, that's not just, that's like, that's comfortable. I could see that working. But sometimes I'll see these guys in like crazy ass Gucci stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm blinded by you right now. I can't even hear what you're saying.
I never understood that too, because it's like, dude, you're supposed to be making people laugh.
Yeah, you tell me. I don't know. It's your profession.
I don't know what it is. I see people go way fashion forward on the stage, and I'm kind of like, dude, it's just like a distraction.
Totally.
And nobody cares. Nobody cares. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's like nobody cares. Your job here is to play the fool. Like you're trying to dress like a cool guy. It's like I think it detracts.
I'm with you, man.
I think it detracts. If I ever wear anything that is remotely eye catching, I'll think about it on stage the entire time.
Really?
I can't. Yeah, it took me forever to. This is my Oura ring. It's just for tracking my biometrics. Took me forever. I would meet every person I met. I'd be like, I'm usually not a 2-ring guy.
You're the only Oura ring person I know who's a guy.
I know. It's well, they track their periods.
I know. That's why every women I know is like they're obsessed with period tracking. So how does it feel to be a guy wearing an Oura ring?
Well, what
do you even get out of the Oura?
Me and Nick Sex from 311. I'm not the only guy. The guy from 311 wears Oura ring too. Like.
real men wear whoop straps.
Whoop straps are cool, but here's the thing: sleeping with something on my wrist, I get it to track my sleep.
Yeah,
my sleep is way up.
This? You can sleep with
just too clunky on my hand.
It's too clunky on your hand.
It's too clunky. I tried doing the Apple Watch sleep, and I can't get with it.
I'll tell you, when I got my wedding ring, it took me months to get used to this shit.
Yeah.
I was just, even now, I'm always like this. Like,
yep.
I noticed subconsciously, I'm always twisted
I banging on shit. I felt weird for the longest time, and then now if I don't have it on, I feel like a like a naked boy.
Do you ever get terrifying that you're gonna rip your finger off? I think about that all the time.
How are you gonna rip your finger off?
I don't know, like the trunk or something, like something will catch just exactly the right way. And
Oh,
that's it,
you're
it's
gonna
gone.
come into it like that.
Yeah, and your entire finger is gonna be completely ripped off.
Then it's if you rip your ring finger off, then it's on. You can do whatever you want. Just be like, bro, my bad.
Hey, what do you even tell your wife? Put the ring on the nub.
Yeah, it's like I lost my ring. You just cheat on her all the time because you don't have a ring finger.
Like,
I'm not
babe,
married.
I don't have a ring finger. It's gone.
Our vows are over. Yeah, if you lose that finger, you're a batch. You're
That's
a bachelor.
good. I like that. Wait, you remember those rules in the 2000s? I love watching, 2000s movies or even actually 1990s, like American Pie, when they're like, it's not cheating if you're not in the same zip code.
Oh yeah.
And rewatching it 25 years later, you're like, that makes no fucking sense. You're like, what are you talking? Like, how was this conventional wisdom in 2001?
The hall pass was another big one. Like
Yes,
hall pass. Who the
there was a whole Friends episode. Like, what's your hall pass? And I was like, but that's not real. It's just totally fake.
Yeah, you're butt
you're
fucking a
just
lady in a
cheating.
hotel room. Like, stop acting like it's a cute thing to do. Yeah, I was literally just thinking about hall passes yesterday. I was like, they try to push that for a little bit. They're like,
it was a huge
hall pass.
2000s trope, as if all relationships functioned on if you're not in separate area codes, you're not married or you're engaged. Hall passes were apparently and allegedly a thing. What else was there? There was
work wife
was
bro,
a huge thing.
That
That's
shit
right.
pisses me off.
Yeah,
I don't like that stuff
The
at
entire
all.
work wife concept is fucking weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
I understand how it arises, but it's like it's not your work wife. You're cheating on your wife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're having an emotional relationship.
You are having an emotional affair.
that's going to bleed over.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things were weird in the 90s. Things
They were.
weird.
And there was also in the 90s, it was like very in vogue. We talked about this before, but it was like very in vogue to like jailbait. The concept of like having sex with
You're
underage
absolutely right.
women
Yeah.
was just like, yo, bro, jailbait.
That's another big American Pie thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, man, they don't age well, but they are still hilarious.
Dude, they're
And
so funny.
They should remake it. They should do it again. We need, what was the last one? American Wedding? Is that what it?
I lost track. American Pie,
Yeah.
I saw that. That was like a huge thing to see when I was younger. I
Absolutely.
kind of jumped off that and Hangover. I didn't really follow The Hangover as well.
So good.
Comedies, they stopped making comedy movies for
Yeah,
the most
but the
part.
whole reason I'm here is because Shane is filming Tired.
I know.
So
And now it's the emergence. It's re-emerging.
Yeah.
And that technically is a show. The comedy, the great American comedy. There was like the Farrelly brothers, all
Yes.
these people. You don't have like a comedy in the theaters.
Well, and the weirdest thing too is that the director Todd Phillips. I mean, he made so many of those movies that I love. Old School. He made what else did he make? He made Road Trip, I think, which
Yeah.
is an incredible film.
Road
People
Trip's
don't
nice.
get- Road Trip is so good. But now, and then he did The Hangover. He became filthy rich. But then he made the Joker movie, and then he made Joker 2, which is adorable. It's like a
Dude,
total
why
disaster.
did they do that?
I don't know. I mean, the Galaxy Brain case, Tarantino had a really good quote. He's like, Joker is Todd Phillips saying, the way he talks. He's like,
Yeah.
Joker is the Todd Phillips way of saying, fuck you to the audience. And that's why it's brilliant. And I was like, I don't know, Tarantino. I think you're galaxy braining yourself into how that this shitty movie is actually really
Yeah, it
good.
sucks.
It's just bad. It's just empirically bad.
I know. Even though to be like, yeah, because for me, I always think of like the movie, I guess if you have that track record,
Yeah.
it's like people will still invest in you.
Well, that's the thing. He has fuck you money. And also, he's a super weird dude. One of my favorite books I read about Hollywood was Molly's Game. Actually, it also became a movie, which is a good movie. I think it's on Netflix. And it's about that girl who ran the high stakes poker game in Hollywood. But I ended up reading the book, and I found out Tobey Maguire is a complete and total psycho. So Toby,
What?
yeah, I had no idea. So Toby was part of the quote unquote pussy posse with
He was
Leo
pussy
DiCaprio.
posse.
So I knew that. But then I'm reading about these weird psychological mind games that he would play in the book. And he would, at one point, he had a quote where he's like, poker is not about winning. Poker is about destroying people's souls. And he would string people along and bring them and get them into debt. And he was constantly charging this girl, the girl who ran the games, and he was fucking with her and her livelihood. And he would take the game. He's a multi-hundred millionaire or whatever. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he's charging her for using his automatic shuffling. Just weird power game shit. Like true Hollywood.
He's like an evil nerd.
Yeah,
He's like an evil nerd.
Psycho.
What the
Reading
fuck?
that book, I was like, dude, you are an actual psychopath. Like, this Seabisk, he's the jockey. That's Spider-Man. That's all I
Yeah.
know about this guy. I was like, oh man, this is.
Well, he's probably
this is so
upset his
weird.
parents died when he was younger, and he had
Yeah.
to become a superhero. Got bit
Well,
by a spider.
He's got that, and then the more I learned, and then Todd Phillips is in the book too. That's what made me think
He's
of it.
nuts.
Because,
Is it-
he's
so this is all
total
like
weirdo.
a biographer, basically, like digging into these
No,
people.
she wrote the book. She was like my journey
Oh,
running
this
the
is what he
high
was
stakes
doing.
poker
Got you,
game.
got
And
you, got you.
She was like the assistant to some rich Hollywood fuck, and he brought her to run the games. And then she got in with like Toby Maguire. Apparently Leo came, and Toby got Leo to come. And
Pussy Posse, yeah.
yeah. But Leo is also apparently like didn't talk to anybody and just put his headphones on the entire time while he was playing poker.
Dude, I've heard a headphone
Yeah.
story about Leo.
I was going to say
yeah.
that's so that's what reminded me of the other.
Do you know the
Leo
song? Do you know the
story.
song he listens to?
No, what is it?
Oh, dude, it's fuck. It's Time to Pretend. He listens to Time to Pretend while like
While
like
having
someone
sex
who's
with,
wearing like basically
extremely
this.
young women. I mean, I don't get it. I mean,
Time
the
to
whole
Pretend,
thing-
dude.
What
She's 27. It's time to pretend she's 27,
Yeah,
but
right.
she's
no younger.
18.
What's the
I'm saying
cutoff
she's
for
18.
Leo?
He's
25.
pretending.
Oh, that's right. He's trying to pretend that she's 18.
they're trying to pretend she's 27, but she is
The
18.
whole thing is very strange. The Leo thing, I don't get it. I love Leo. He's such an incredible actor.
It's
He's got
fantastic.
great instincts. He's actually a very, very smart guy. But yeah, his personal life, it's weird. Like, I think we
Dude,
need to call a spade a spade.
It is, and it's
Yeah.
also one of those things where I think Bill Maher is like another avowed kind of like, yeah, I fucked 19-year-olds and I'm
Right.
65, and he's like,
No, he's
it's
older than that. I think he's like 67, bro. Yeah.
Jesus
He might
Christ.
he might be pushing 70 actually.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's another one where it's like, yeah, it is weird. It is definitely weird, dude, because just the mental difference is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like statistical, like think about how many standard deviations away
It's
you
like
are
a
from
vampire.
That
It's like
person.
you're an immortal vampire at that point. You're 70 talking to an
To a
18-year-old.
18-year-old girl. Yeah.
You're kind of babysitting her.
Absolutely you are. There's no
Yeah.
question. I don't know, man.
And if it's like, dude, like you could be like, oh, I can make a geometric case for their breasts. It's like, all right, dude, well, like, dude, just stop being such a pervert. Go jack off, dude. You don't have to date an 18-year-old. Just go jerk off. You don't have to like try to make it a lifestyle.
See, I love
movement.
this because this is a very just natural way of us, like, bringing ourselves to being like, yeah, there's actually really something about you should just get married, bro. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
get married. Be normal. Being normal is good. It's actually a good thing. People who aren't normal are fucking weirdos. And I mean, you and I are in a unique position where you actually probably eventually get to meet some of these famous people that you see, or you just hear little things that are not
For
coming
sure,
out in
for
the
sure.
public, and you're like, oh yeah, there's a real cost to this, isn't there? You're like, and I'm like, I'm not really sure. I'm like, I don't want to fuck with this. This is not the way that I choose to live my life, and I don't really want to be associated with
Well,
that.
dude, there
Yeah.
comes a point where you're either involved in this, like, because you're absolutely right, because you get to like, they're like the rarefied air of like
Yes.
Hollywood and all this stuff, and it does turn into like a diabolical power game, and it's like we all have those instincts to participate in some level, but there are people who give their entire lives to like, like looking at another guy's car or
Yes.
being like, he got what project? Fucking motherfucker.
Yeah, it's
Where's
a
my
real,
19-year-old girlfriend? I need to fucking eat her pussy right now
It's
to
a
calm
real
down.
like weird consumerist like idolatry of the self.
Yes.
And it's like everything that I've learned, in life is just like all of that is horrible and it's bad.
Yeah.
There's a good political, thing to this too. If you stay in Washington, the thing is, lots of people who are young come to Washington, 22, 23 years old, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, all of that. Most people burn out by 27. So I'm like in my mid-30s now, and so I'm in the cohort, like we made it, like the people who actually got the job, stayed in the lifestyle and all of that. But this is also, there's this cringe show, but How I Met Your Mother. And there's a very important concept that Barney lays out in that show where he's like relationships. And I think life is like this, have off ramps like an exit where it's like relationships is like 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, 25, something like that. And if you look statistically, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
In terms of like when divorces and breakups and all that stuff happen. But for like professional DC or honestly any career where it requires you to give fucking everything to
Yeah.
it, but then you start to see one of the most important pieces of advice I got was like, look at where you are and then look at the guy who's 10 years in that same path. And I was in the White House briefing room, for example, and I was looking around. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, I don't want to be any of you people.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, if we're on this track, I'm like, this is a bad track. We gotta get out.
What was the White House briefing? What would you,
Yeah.
was that like when you sit and ask questions at like
Yeah,
the
that's
thing?
where, well, I didn't even get to sit. I had to stand like a bitch in the corner. But
Oh, excuse me. So
Yeah.
you're like just yelling questions.
It's horrible, man. Yeah. So actually, I'm hopeful with the new administration that we can change some of this up. So the way it works is that the White House Correspondents Association is like a cartel. And even though it's unofficial, they run everything. So all the briefing room seats are assigned by the White House Correspondents
Gotcha.
Association. I was working for the Daily Caller at the time, which is like a conservative media outlet. And if you want a seat, you have to apply. And applying takes years to get a new seat. And so if you don't have a seat, then obviously you have to get there early. So I would get there hours early ahead of time just to be able to stand in the hallway, like on the side, and you're literally crammed in up against like all these different people. There's all this jockeying, and there's like foreigners.
It's like the
and
stock market
other
kind
people.
of, in
It's
a way.
literally, it's like a movie, right? And then you just sit there and you kind of like poke your hand. I was lucky because I'm tall, so I actually get my hand above. There was a short girl behind me, and she was like, "Can I get in front of you?" I'm like, "Sorry, bitch."
Yeah,
like, I got
nah.
you. Yeah,
I was
like,
here at 5 a.m.
Look, it's a
Fuck
dog eat dog world. Like, get here earlier. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. That's what I'm talking about, though. I don't want to be that person. That actually sucks.
Yeah.
Or there was this girl who's like, "Hi, I'm shooting a documentary. I'm from England and all this, and I was just wondering if I get my shot." I'm like, "Yeah, but if you get your shot, I'm gonna get my question." So it's like, and then my boss is gonna chew my ass out, so it's just not gonna happen. It's like, and you don't want to be in that mind space. Is more what I'm saying. So that's probably,
it takes a toll. It does
I
take
think
a toll.
Hollywood, finance, politics, all these other things all function the same way. In that, if you want to be in the top 0.1% of your field, you have to give everything to it, and that's it. There's no other choice.
Yeah,
and people should be real with that. So if you're listening and you're like thinking, you're like, "Oh, I really want to do something like that," just understand what it takes. Understand what it actually takes to get there.
Oh, dude,
yeah,
for sure. And dude, it's funny because I'm viewing schools now and it's like kind of related. So I'm looking at schools for my daughter. She's going into kindergarten next year. So we're like looking at, and it's like, dude, schools now are, and I think it's good, but from what I've been seeing, it's like they're educating people to like do something for everybody, to like bring something to the world rather than like, when we were in school, it was more like build yourself up so that you're a high value individual that you can just take resources for yourself and just, like
Definitely.
fuck off. And it's like, yeah, but the problem is like they sold everyone that dream, but the reality is like most people aren't going to get those.
Well, and it's
most
not
people
about
aren't going to become doctors. And
most
shit.
people don't want to do that.
True.
You don't want, like, I'm Indian, so I know a lot of doctors. It's like, do you want to know how hellish medical school is?
Dude.
Be real. Whenever you like, for real. Do you want to spend 8 years in school, 4 years making shit money with $300,000 in debt, working 80, 90 hours a week, getting shit on by the attending physicians, then hoping and praying that you get, your placement or whatever for the next job. So by the time you're my age, you can finally get your first paycheck. Oh, but fuck you. Even though you get your first nice paycheck, 90% of that is going to be going to clearing off of your medical debt. And you've lived 10 years. You're probably now addicted to smoking, food, like some vice of some. There's no way.
Sure.
Again, you know this too. When you work really hard, like it takes it all from you. You're going to be addicted to energy drinks, nicotine, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you need something.
Yeah.
It's not possible to do it natural.
It's true. I've gone back and forth, and it's like I'm like, no, I don't need anything. And I had like a pretty harsh caffeine phase for myself. I'm like sensitive to it.
Yeah.
I had to stop that because I wasn't sleeping. But
how do you? Because you travel a lot, right?
Yeah,
that's brutal.
I've recently. It sucks. Yeah. I've recently introduced melatonin. Okay. I'm a very like natural type. I don't want to take anything, but I've succumbed to just like
interesting.
Just
can I give you a warning about melatonin though?
Yeah.
So Andrew Huberman says not to take melatonin.
I know, man. I know it's not good. Because
I know it's not right. It was something about He said like the label on the bottle can be anywhere between like 2% and 1,000% of what's actually in there.
What?
Yeah, and he said something. Don't take my word for it, but it was something along the lines of, "I've seen them give melatonin to rats and it shrivels their balls." So he's like, I think that it messes with testosterone.
Right, enough said.
So
dude, I'm done.
My opinion,
enough said,
you
done.
should stay off.
I'm off it.
Stay off the melatonin.
I'm off it. It is as soon as I started taking it, I was like, I get why Michael Jackson had a guy with like an IV in his arm. I'm like, dude,
no, that was a whole other level, man. That's like what was it? Propofol?
Propofol. It was Propofol. But you start to like, dude, it's like you're just sitting there reading a book, and all of a sudden the melatonin just starts to like weigh you. You're like a stone statue, and then you're just like.
Did you read about this Matthew Perry thing? Oh, it was so fucked up.
So what actually happened to him?
Perry. So, I mean, it's really sad. I read his book actually after he died, and Perry was obviously, everybody knows he was a drug addict.
Yeah.
But it's his parents. It turns out his mom was like the press secretary for Justin Trudeau's dad.
What?
Like when he was the prime minister. Yeah, he was actually, and apparently he beat the shit out of Justin Trudeau when they were kids, which is wild.
Matthew Perry beat up Justin Trudeau?
Matthew Perry beat up Justin Trudeau.
That's kind of boss.
Yeah, it is cool. But so Perry, it turns out when he was like a really little baby and he was crying, his parents would give him like benzos, like benzodiazepine.
What?
Like really and he was like, yeah, when some of my parents' funniest stories is about me as a baby just sitting there like drooling out of my mouth when they were plugging me full of benzos because I was crying. He was like colicky. And so his theory of why he's so fucked up and addicted to drugs was because at a very early age that he had benzos. And he's talked about how the very first time he ever felt like anything was good in this world was when he was drunk at 14 years old. And that was the rat race. And then he becomes a fucking centimillionaire, whatever, from Friends. And that's why you can see his weight wildly fluctuate on the show because he was either drunk or he was on pills or he was on Oxy. But dude, the thing is with Perry is he died of a ketamine overdose, I believe, and they Los Angeles District Attorney filed this case against a so-called like ketamine queen, and they have text messages in there of the doctor and the girl who was selling him all this illegal ketamine being like, how much can we take this rich asshole for? You know, charging him thousands of dollars per hit of ketamine, of which they're buying. It's like
not very chill, dude, ketamine community.
Deeply exploitative shit, like really bad. It was horrible.
I have a lot of people are really into ketamine. I have a very kind of like weird thing because I knew a lot of like evil hippies who were like,
on ketamine.
They got like addicted to that shit. They used to call it hippie heroin.
What's it called? K-hole, right?
K-hole, yeah. Well, dude, before it became mainstream, it was known like people were like, oh, it's hippie heroin because they would like nod out.
What does it do? Because I thought that it helps.
Dissociative.
But there's the depression aspect. There's like the therapeutic aspect, and apparently he'd been having ketamine in a therapeutic setting, but then I guess he got addicted to that. And that's why he died in that hot tub, man, because, dude, and it was like his assistant, his little drug assistant, they were working to procure him drugs and charge him thousands of dollars because they were ripping this guy off.
That's not right. It's called custying someone out. They're custying him. You treat him custody prices. Really? Yeah. It's not a good thing to do. But yeah, I've heard people who swear by it. They're like, if you do like, because you can do, like, you know, they make like little lozenges and stuff. So you could like lay there. My brother's all about it. He's like, you lay there.
He's a big K guy.
Big K guy. Big special K guy. He was really selling me on it. And it was like, you know, I'm like, and I get like if you're laying there, it's like a 30-minute ordeal. You come out of it. Right. He's like, it's good. It's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. But then there's doctors who like will prescribe you a little bit. Like you can just kind of have it to kind of like, because you can either like get into a K hole or just kind of take the edge off. And I knew like these dudes that would just snort K constantly. But if you snort too much, then you'll just be sitting there like.
The other K that I see signs for everywhere, and I actually don't know what it is it kratom?
Kratom, yeah.
What is kratom? It's kratom like you see signs for this everywhere. CBD, we sell kratom. I don't know a single person who's ever used kratom. I don't know what kratom is.
I know it, dude.
I just know it exists, but it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. It's every gas station in America.
Gas stations sell like full on. They sell drugs, or you can sell weed legally at gas stations now. It's they did it. It's the hemp farm bill allowed THCA, which is weed. The active ingredient's THC.
Is that the same as was it spice or whatever? Those
dude. So
what's
spice,
that then?
Spice is a synthetic. So it's like if you take Delta 9 tetrahydride, whatever it's called. There's the exact molecule that's illegal. Spice is like let's remove a couple carbon molecules and like a hydrogen, and now it's like very similar, but it's legal because it's not technically the same stuff. It's like an analog or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
So what kratom is, well, with the THCA stuff, it's like like weed picked off the plant is THCA because there's a carbon molecule. That's why if you have to make brownies, you have to heat the weed up to decarboxylate it. And that's what, like, THC is illegal, but THC is legal. So now you can grow hemp, which is just weed, with THCA, which is just THC, and it's legal. And you can sell it at a gas station. It's completely schizophrenic. Right. It makes no sense. Yeah. It makes no sense. But I mean, I think it's sick. You can mail it right to your house. But
really?
Oh yeah, you can just get it mailed right to you.
Are you a big weed guy?
I was for the longest time.
I can smell weed in here, you know.
It wasn't me.
Okay.
That wasn't me. I know you hate it. It wasn't me. That was you, bro. You were blazing. Me and Saga ripped the blunt, dude. I like that.
Don't put misinformation out there, all right? Like, the moment I came down here, my nostrils flared. I didn't want to say anything, but I did suspect you. I'm not going to lie. I immediately suspected you.
I was a big weed guy since I was like in high school through college.
But you quit, right? So it's a success story.
I cut it out, but here's the thing. It becomes too much, like especially when you have kids. It's like I just can't. I can't be high. Like,
can you tell that to more people? Yeah.
Some people claim, but like for me personally, it's like having like a weird panic attack at a playground. Yeah, not serving your family.
That sounds horrible.
Like, oh fuck, dude, I just got to be brave for my daughter.
But everybody
right
says it's chill. No, it's chill, dude. It's totally chill,
dude. The thing is, the weed's different. The weed is so strong.
I know.
Now.
Thank you. Please continue.
It's a different stuff, dude. I've literally I was selling weed from 2008 up until. Whatever, pretty embarrassingly recently, but the whatever. I don't even remember.
I'm gonna call 911. I'm gonna call Philly PD.
Maybe 2009.
Is weed legal in Philly?
I knew a guy who got it's medical. Okay. I knew a guy who got caught with coke outside of the Delaware County. And apparently the Delaware or like whatever township police called the Philadelphia PD and they're like, we caught this guy with cocaine. We also think he's been buying weed from Philadelphia, and dude, the Philly PD just went hung up on. He was in the room. He was like in trouble for it.
I mean, to be fair, they have like actual problems.
Yes,
like murders.
And they were just like, he's like, dude, the Philly PD hung up on the township police.
They're like, dude, we don't care about that.
But it is, dude, with the dabs, it has become drugified. So I like watched weed develop for years, like very close to it, and it was like it became a thing that was like, dude, this is like, dude, like, it used, it was like, everyone talks about this. Like in the 70s, it was like 7% THC. Then you get like 14, 15 was like, wow, dude, it's like 30. Some of them are like 28 to 30%. And it's too much.
And they also, the percentage was that are sold to you. It's kind of like what I just said about melatonin. You have no idea whether that's correctly in there or not. So yeah, let's stay off the weed. Let me that. Also, if you'll allow me a weed diatribe.
That's fine. I'll give you one.
Yeah.
What my thing is now, it's like, so now they're starting to regrow it and introduce like the grow it so it's like only 7% with CBD.
Okay.
And that's very relaxing and it's not as psychoactive. It really can like make you, it's like the founding father weed. That's like the hemp George Washington smoked.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's very chill. You're not like, you might get like,
Well, he was doing opium too. Do you think other people?
Was he doing opium?
Of course, they all were doing opium back then. That's how the painkillers happen. Yeah.
True, I guess.
That's
milk
a
or poppy.
forbidden part of the 1900s and nobody ever talks about. The shocking number of opium and cocaine addicts that were up until like the 1920s. Incredible amount of society was addicted to morphine, opium, cocaine. You could get it readily across the counter. A lot of the doctors were going to prison because they were coke addicts and they were prescribing cocaine to different people. It's actually pretty wild.
Yeah, I think you can get it in prison. You can get like opium in prison in like the 20s. I think you could order it on commissary.
Wow.
I think so. I read a book about like an old like a burgler from like 1890s.
Not a bad way to spend the time. You're already locked up.
You can just gobble it up. You can just take exactly. You can just gobble it up. I think it was like either the guards were selling it, but I remember the guy was saying in the book he just ordered some opium from the truck.
Well, it wasn't illegal for a long time. Yeah. I mean, it took a long time because there was it's the same problems we have now. Like opium addicts at the time, that it's like for a while they're on opium, they can't afford opium. You start robbing people to pay for your opium, and it's like they're like, okay, we got to get rid of this.
Yeah, this is a problem. Yeah, dude, the kratom now is a. It's not.
So what is it? Is
so
it
it's technically an opiate. It's a plant. It's a natural plant, but it has.
No, this is what they say about it's natural.
It's natural.
Yeah, it's natural. What did you just talk about? Oh, they're cross plays with this.
Yes,
40% now. It's like that's not fucking natural.
Exactly.
Okay? That's as natural as
the
the red tomato in a grocery store.
I totally agree.
Right.
I think they've ruined weed. Now it's called type 2 cannabis. They're walking it back, and I think that because dude, I would just like freak out. I'm like, this sucks. This isn't fun at all. Or I do think though, and this is like a. I do like saying this to people because people get very like bullyish with weed. They'll be like, dude, fucking 5 milligram. I could take a 50 mil. It's like this because you're a dumbass. You don't have anything going on in your brain. So it's
like you've actually cooked so much of your IQ off that you no longer have the IQ to understand.
No, I'm saying naturally they're a dumbass. They've always been people who can do like 200 milligram edibles. It's like, yeah, because you're a fucking dumbass. You don't have anything going on in your mind. You're just sitting there like, you're like when like a dog gets a brownie. You're just kind of like, or you metabolize it differently. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
But dude, the kratom, they do snag people with the natural stuff, but it's like it mimics opiates. So people will use it to get off of like, you could be sick from.
It's like methadone?
Heroin if it was a plant. But it also is different. Like if you take a little bit, it's energizing. But if you take a lot, it's like you ate like 4 Percocets.
I don't get it, man.
Dude, and people get addicted to it, man. And
no, I do know that. That's why I brought it up, because there is a lot of this weird stuff that, like kratom, obviously weed now with the mass legalization, and nobody ever talks about it. If you look at the weed graph, like over 20% of weed users are using it on a multi-daily basis. Yeah. So that is like, imagine if 20% of people who drank alcohol drank like straight liquor all day, every day. That's not even close.
What is the percentage of people who drink alcohol daily?
Who are daily drinkers? I think it's like 7 to 8%. Actually, by the way, I'm not putting alcohol off the.
For sure,
it's really bad. People who are alcoholics, it ruins your life. It will kill you early. There's all this stuff. And actually, it's weed and alcohol, almost all vices actually have the same effect, where between like it's like the Pareto principle, where 20% can be responsible for 80%. And so 20% of weed users consume almost all of the weed, and because they're using it every single day, and it's extremely high THC and it's psychoactive. Anybody who knows anybody's ever owned a liquor store, it's like the vast majority of your sales are going to the same like alcoholics. Honestly, it's really sad.
Yeah.
And then gambling is the same way. Like a huge percentage of casino returnees, like people go to Vegas and they have fun, but like if you have ever spent time in a casino, like the people that come every single day are just like pissing their lives.
It makes you really sad.
That's the saddest part. Like that is really sad.
It's so when you see this, especially the old people there, and you're like, damn, your kids stopped talking to you. You've worked your whole life.
Do you have sports gambling advertisers? Do you?
Oh, big time, yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay.
You can
I'll say
talk
it.
whatever you want.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'll say it.
It's unfettered free speech.
Well,
You think I'm going to restrict speech at the podium?
Sorry, DraftKings and FanDuel and all these other people.
It's not those two, but yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well,
we've definitely had that before.
Oh, have you?
Say whatever you want.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm
good.
not worried about that.
Well, I don't want to get you in trouble, but
Can you get me in trouble?
I have become totally convinced. But I don't put cards on the table. I actually like to go to the casino. I think casino gambling is really fun, but I think it's very important that I have to go to the casino to a physical location. The stats right now on sports gambling, it's just like weed, all vices. Disaster. If you look at the amount of money that is being sucked out of people's pockets, it's horrible. So in September, in New Jersey alone, New Jersey bettors lost $200 million gambling online, in full online gambling. They lost $400 million. They were gambling on sports, and a total of $900 million in a single month of September, just if you include also the casinos. So you can see that almost half of the money that New Jersey bettors lost. By the way, Jersey's not that fucking big. So we just talked about $1 billion that got sucked out of the market.
Crazy.
People are addicted to sports gambling, man. It's terrible. And the other thing is, if I studied, I went and I read a little bit about how casinos operate, and casino profits, like the amount that they take, is called the hold, like on a game. And the hold for DraftKings, FanDuel, and all these others is way higher because traditional gamblers in casinos, they'll bet the money line or they'll bet the spread. But these retards on sports gambling are buying and doing all these parlays that get algorithmically pushed. You have no fucking chance of winning your parlay. Okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not going to win your parlay. Don't ask me. Check the stats and look at the profits for where all these people are coming from. So, dude, mass sports gambling has been a fucking disaster. Like, you've seen domestic violence has gone up in the places where it is. Bankruptcies are up. You're seeing a huge amount of credit card debt, 25% increase amongst the people where it is legal. And actually, I just read an article about Brazil yesterday where basically it's a social transfer program where the government is cutting checks to working class people. Those people are gambling almost 40% of their paychecks away on a consistent basis. So it's like a mass wealth transfer that's happening right now. And sadly, because you can do it online, just imagine if you could take your phone out and there was an app on your phone where you could drink alcohol. Do you know how popular that app would be?
Imagine, or see naked girls.
Well, that's a big one. We'll get to that next. We're gonna come next. This is gonna be the Killjoy podcast.
No,
but imagine if you could like suck marijuana from an app that was out of your phone. People would be addicted to that. That gambling is honestly worse.
Well, it's
than both
a double
of those.
addiction because the phone's addictive.
Yes,
and
exactly.
then you put addiction on top of an addictive device.
So you have algorithm, you have phones, and you have money that is now at stake. Every single state where this has happened has been an absolute nightmare. And if all you have to do, the thing is that the gambling companies legally, they have to disclose all of this. So all you have to do is go and read their profit and loss statements and look how much of this is coming from the parlay bets. It's the vast majority of their profits. And yet you idiots keep signing up for it. And I get that it's fun, but it's not funny whenever your wife is like, hey, baby, can we buy these berries for our child? And you're like, oh, I actually pissed it all away on a parlay last night. And, now you have guys who are, you've seen this explosion and people are like, I'm gambling on women's softball or in Korea. And I'm like, bro, you have a problem.
Yeah.
You have a problem.
That's always been, people are like, that's degenerate behavior. Like the Little League World Series, like, you're a degenerate. You're a degenerate. Yeah.
You are a degen, bro. And this is my case. I think gambling should be legal. But it should only be in casinos. Because one of my favorite parts about going to the casino is you meet the characters, right? You go to the craps table and you see a guy who hasn't showered in 3 days and has got his colostomy bag on. And by the way, he will teach you how to roll the dice. And so shout out to that man for showing me how to do it. But seeing him, I'm like, I don't ever want to be even in the same like universe of like whatever this dude is. But you can't see that when you're on the couch. You don't understand. You're the sucker. Last thing on this that I found out from Nate Silver's book is that if you are any good at sports gambling, you're banned. And so
that's kind of fucked up.
So if you win consistently on DraftKings or on FanDuel, they will cap your bet size to like $2. They're like, oh, you're allowed to bet $2.14.
That's bullshit.
Yes, but you know why? And then people are like, oh, I'm actually really good at sports gambling. I'm like, oh, how you been on the app? They're like 3 years. I'm like, you're not any good at sports gambling. I'm like, it would have banned your ass.
Yeah, they would cut. That's everyone. No, I'm like breaking even basically. And it's like, they fucking.
It's like, well, first of all, you need to win 52% of your bets just to beat the house because 2% is the VIG that goes to the house.
Yeah.
But then over that, it's like look, you're not winning. If you're still gambling consistently on the apps, you have not won, and you're the sucker. That's just
what they should do. An easy amendment to this that wouldn't be such a money suck is that when you lose your gambling money, it's held from you for 6 months. They get to make money on the interest, and then they send it back to you. So you're
that
like,
would be nice, but
you're momentarily penalized.
I just read in New York.
I mean, why would they do that? They would be like, "Fuck you, we're keeping all. How about we keep all of it and make interest?"
These guys are making the biggest killing in the planet, and like the best part is all the states are doing it too because they want the money. But the thing is, look, they're going to pay for it because it's one of those where you're getting this fake tax revenue. But yeah, when you have to come and send cops to Johnny's house because he went fucking broke and he beat up his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, you're paying for that. You know,
he's blowing off some steam.
Right. Parlay goes down. He's going to house one of those plastic bottles of whiskey from Costco.
Yeah.
And we all know what happens next.
It is weird that when jobs are scarce, like it just people just end up beating up girls. Like if there's not good stuff going on, people are like, well, I guess I have to beat up a girl now. It happens across like every culture.
It's every culture. Actually, a lot of people got mad at me on the show because I was talking about it was during one of our immigration debates. I think you talked about it a little bit actually on your show, and I was just like, look. And by the way, just full disclosure, I married into an Irish family from Philadelphia.
Oh, there you go.
All right, so I have no discrimination against the Irish, but what I'm saying is, back in the day, I think it was reasonable to be like, well, you know, all these people are coming over here and they drank a lot of whiskey. And so nobody knows this. The very first thing that women did whenever they voted was ban alcohol. That's why the temperance movement was entirely driven by women.
Whoa.
And the reason why is because they were getting the absolute shit kicked out of them by their drunk ass husbands who were drinking a liter of whiskey per day on average to deal with, you know, the industrial revolution and all this. But it was also, let's be honest, it was part of their culture, right?
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
But that just people don't forget is like that for some reason it's intrinsic. Like alcohol, gambling, and beating the shit out of your wife. It's just a package deal.
It's one big
You
thing.
are siging up for that. Yep. You are 100%. So don't incentivize it.
Yeah, it's just impulses ruling the roost, and then eventually the curtain closes, and you're like,
right. Yeah, well, really what I think it is just somebody for the first time is showing the reality of what you've done, where you can rationalize your parlays away, you can rationalize all this, but the very first time, like I just said, we're like, hey, can we pay to go see, I don't know, like I want to go see my mom next week or whatever. Can I get a flight? And they're like, no, we literally don't have any money.
Yeah, or the ultimate being like, I told you the Chiefs weren't going to kick a field goal. And you're like, shut the fuck up. You didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, it is funny. There is a huge, because, you know, I'm all like Irish Catholic out, and it's like, like seeing someone fall at a wedding, I'm like, meh. Yeah. It's like, it's so normal. And like my wife would like cry. She's like, that's not right. And I'm like, that's so sad. I'm like, dude.
My in-laws and their family are not like
people
that.
People fall at weddings. It is what it is. Like,
I did
stop being
see
a baby.
A really funny tweet. And be like, you know, I left Dublin and I moved. I forget where they moved, like somewhere in South America or something. And they're like, and what I thought was we were all having a good time. It turns out we're just crippling alcoholics.
Yeah, like family beach trips were just like adults hammered for 7 days, and I'd just be like, all right. And then the kids would get hammered. They would pass out.
East Coast beach culture is weird.
Oh, it's crazy.
I'll tell you
dude.
this.
It's crazy.
I had no exposure to it because I grew up here. But yeah, I went to went to Rehoboth, which is like the nice beach, right? Mm-hmm. But even then, I'm like, man, these ladies are hammering Tito's at like 9 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, there's some crazy shit going down.
East Coast beach culture is like it's like quiet. That's not like as like cool like Margaritaville. It's just people just quietly
DJing.
My uncles would be like, they would all joke. They'd be like, ah, man, who's gonna crack the first one? They'd be like, I don't give a shit, I'll do it. And you just crack a Coors Light. Now they don't let you drink on the beaches like that.
Really?
Yeah, they're ticketing.
I saw a lot of people doing it.
Well, in the
they're doing it in the
Solo
cups.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
They used to, and they'll still come around and police you. I grew up going to Sea Isle, and it was just beers, whatever.
Really?
Now it's like you have to have a cup, and they'll come around if you have alcohol in your cup. Because they can just write you a fine because everyone's going to drink on the beach.
Of course they are. Yeah. Well, see, and this is where my like nanny state instincts kind of. I'm like, all right, well, fuck off. All right, people are also on the beach, and that's just a money grab for. We need rules, but really what it is like we just need a better culture around this stuff because we just got to acknowledge the downsides, right? That's all I'm asking. Everybody's asking like sports gambling is the greatest thing ever. It's about freedom. You're gonna get and look at their ads, right? They're like you're gonna get rich. You're showing free $15.
No, we'll give you $500 for $5.
$5 a $500 deposit. I'm like once again, bro, like. have you ever been to a casino? That shit doesn't get built based on winners. Like 99% of the people who walk out of there are fucking losers. The odds that it are you is almost 99%. So
well, I think the gambling companies would be happier doing this because they do that little disclaimer, like, by the way, guys, if in case you
but that's mostly bullshit, and a lot of it is because they're required by the state to put it in there, and then what the states do is they take part of these losses and they fund these gambling. But it's like you are the receipt. The rise in sports gambling addiction has created the need for these gambling addiction centers. So it's like, just don't have it in the first place.
Well, the weirdest part about gambling addiction is that it's not even about winning or losing. Like I forget, I read
they
some
like
book.
when they lose. That's the craziest part. They love it when they lose.
Or it's more like the flow state of just being like, it's not the winning or losing.
Absolutely.
It's just going from thing to thing, and your brain's totally focused on something.
Again, I get it. I like it. I love to play baccarat.
See, I don't like to gamble.
Yeah.
I've never. I'm just filled with anxiety the whole time when I
love
win.
games of chance. Poker is more actually. I think I could justify poker because I wouldn't even really call it gambling, although it is technically like kind of a game of chance. But there's a lot of strategy and math. Obviously, like the famous Rounders quote, it's like the same 10 people may end up at the finals for a reason. It's not a game of fucking chance. Whereas if you go to blackjack competitions or baccarat competitions, you get lucky. All right?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it works. I see the appeal of both, but there is something. This is where I'll flip the script, man. The magic of the cards, like when the baccarat thing.
That's exactly what it is.
You're like 9, 9, 9, 9. You're just sitting there. That moment, the anticipation.
And it's fun.
And when you hit it, oh my God.
It's so fun. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Well, it's also.
But I play like $15 tables in Charlestown, West Virginia, next to toothless Chinese women who are getting their Chinese ash on my. I prefer, honestly, I'd rather be around them. I love them. Shout out to the. You always want to gamble with Chinese, if you're playing baccarat, Chinese and Vietnamese. They know what's up.
That's a good idea. That's a good call.
And the less teeth they have, the more good at the game they are. They have patience. They have all these superstitions about dragons and colors. And
that's
stuff.
the thing, though, man. Because I was like sitting there one time backstage at a comedy show, and they were like playing dice, like in the green room, as like they had this little box. And I was like, it is just people interacting with magic. People are attracted to gambling. It's
magic.
It's like a divine thing. You're like, oh.
And everybody, craps is also definitely the most fun in the game in the casino. Although it is minus EV every single bet on the craps table. So, but when you play, the magic of it is it's a crowd's game because, and I love craps gurus, right? Like I was talking about the diabetic guy, and he's like, yeah, he threw it over here, threw it over here. It's like the first time he throws to the right, he's gonna roll 7, which means we all get fucked. So he's like, he about to roll that, take your bet off, and I was like, all right, got it. He was right. And I was like,
dude, my only time playing craps.
They know something.
My only time playing craps, a guy was like, just do what I do, and I was up $1,300 very quickly.
Holy shit!
Very quickly.
$1,300?
Very quickly.
Whoa!
And I was just
playing higher stakes than I am, man.
I think I was just drunk too. Just like, it's fine. And then I got cocky. I was like, I know what's going on. As soon as I started doing my own bets, I was back down to 600. I just picked it up and I was like, thank you, sir, and just walked. I was like, I'm fucking.
I mean, you left up. That's that's.
I will do that. I'm ruthless at a casino. If I win $100, I'm out. I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. I just won $100.
But it could be 200.
That's to me. I'm 5. Like, I get so disgusted when I lose. The feeling I get, I'm like, I think about just them, just like taking like the time I spent into like work and life, especially when I was like just working a job where I was like, I could be like, oh, that was a day of my life.
Yes.
And I would just think of that just getting like sucked into a vault with just a huge chamber
to pay
of money.
for free drinks for these fat alcoholics who are like,
it would kill me.
Just sitting in the slot machine like.
No, it would fucking kill me. The worst part is I don't really gamble much anymore. But it was like when I first did it, I was in Vegas for my cousin's bachelor party, and he was like, do this, do that. And I won the first 4 times I gambled. I won every time.
What game was it?
Blackjack. And I would just win. I'd win like
very high variance game though. That's the problem. You get fucked so easily,
dude. I'd win like $200, and I'd win 200. I'd just get right the fuck out. And I would spend all my code was every dollar I won gambling, I'd spend it on everyone around me immediately. And it worked.
Yeah, you got to spread the love. You got to get the juju. You need the luck.
Just exactly. And then like I tipped the dealers heavily, and then like I was like, I think I'm good at blackjack, and I instantly lost like $700 so fast, dude.
Oh yeah,
like 15 minutes, I was just
because that's what they do, because it's a high variance game, and they know they can wipe you out way before you're going to wipe them out. What they want to do is just deal all those hands per hour, and already. Blackjack, I think Blackjack is a 51-49 game, I'm pretty sure, even with perfect base. Were you playing basic strategy, like perfect?
No idea what the fuck I was doing. There was a guy, no idea. And there'd be guys like, dude, you got to hit. And I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they get mad at you.
They
Actually,
get furious.
If you don't play basic strategy correctly, because if you fuck it up, you're going to fuck the whole shoe up for the entire table. And so they get very upset.
They were very displeased with me, but I was like, bro, this is not my problem. We're not on a team. You're not sharing your money
Gamblers
with me.
know this. This is Gen Pop shit. You're like, you got this Gen Pop shit.
I'd be like, dude, Steve, we're not on a fucking team. We're not splitting this money. This is my call. And I would,
No, but it is a team because if you fuck the math up, then he's going to hit it. He's going to get the wrong card because he's playing math and you're not. And so that's what screws. But Dana White
That's
has
his
a
problem,
theory.
man.
Yeah, Dana White is like, sometimes you got to go to war with the shoe. And you got to, he's like, you got to turn basic strategy on the shoe. I was like, I don't really think that's how math works. But I mean, he's super rich, so he doesn't care.
yeah. I heard he likes to gamble
Oh, he's
heavily.
me and my friends who like to go to the casino, we will hype ourselves up with Dana White clips. Yeah, yeah. It's just like because he has like a love of the game. Like he's like you know, I'm rich as hell. I can get on the jet and I can go anywhere else. If my kids are gone, I'm going to the casino.
Yeah.
He's just like that's what I do. It's what I do.
It's just
for
scary.
fun.
Once you're that rich, you have to play with big sums to excite
Oh,
yourself.
yeah, he plays for millions. Like I think he said his dream is to play $1 million per hand on baccarat. $1 million a hand. He said I think the highest he's gotten is like 300,000. To be fair, one of the reasons they probably won't let him, and that's one of the reasons I like baccarat, is baccarat is an actual 50-50 game.
That's what I thought. I thought
so
it was
the
like
house edge is like 0.05%. So you actually have pretty. I mean, you have like good odds, but like better than fucking blackjack
for
or
sure. Yeah.
Any of these, especially crap. Crap's a shit show. It's the most fun game in the casino, but every single one of the games, like I said, is minus EV. You're almost certainly going to lose money, like whenever you play, especially in the long enough timeline. So if you do win, like you just get out of there.
Get
like,
out.
Just
Yeah.
If you're up, like if you have 100 and you won 200, get the fuck out.
Balls
like
out. Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Same with roulette. Do not play 000 roulette. That is the biggest scam in the entire casino.
What's 000?
So on roulette, you know, if you could just bet black or red, the way that the house has its edge is in the old days, they had a green 0. So after a while, the casino execs were like, what if we had 2 zeros? We're like, maybe these idiots in Vegas will, and you know, people are drunk and they're like, oh, there's only 2 zeros.
I don't even think about the zeros.
Bro, the math goes from like 49% or whatever to like the house edge goes from like 1 or 2% to like 7%. And then after a while, they couldn't add 3 zeros. So they added like whatever the casino. No, they added a third one. So they go 0, then 00, and then they have like the MGM logo on the wheel. So now the edge is like 11%.
I thought you were saying they added 1010 and then a third, but it was a 00.
No. So there's a 0, then there's a 00, and then there'll be like MGM or Caesars or
just
whatever.
A blank space.
You're just pissing your money away. Like people, you know, there's the meme. It's like if you win, you're like put it all in black or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, well, check the zeros because if there's 000, you're fucked. All right. Like you have not good odds.
Dude, that's you know what I've done though with poker or not poker. The last couple of times I've been in a casino environment for like stand up or something. A lot of times they give you chips.
Really?
So something I've had fun. They'll be like they'll give you like a couple. Like
just let me know the dates. I'll come with you. Yeah.
They'll give you like $100. They'll give you like $100.
Oh man, yeah.
You could break that down.
We could turn that. Yeah, we could turn it into 150. Yeah. We'll turn it into 150.
Dude, what I started doing is when they give me chips, I put it on. I go to roulette or blackjack.
Yeah.
I put it all on one hand, and if it wins, I give it to the dealer. So here you go.
I love that.
It's kind of a fun
very
thing.
nice.
And if I lose, I go, hey man, whatever.
Yeah.
Feels good.
That does, yeah. I mean, they make, dude. You know the people they have to deal with. Like, what a shitty job. Like, I'm sure they make a lot of money. At least some of them, but probably the good ones. But oh god, I can't imagine. You're dealing with the absolute like dregs of humanity.
Especially like at their worst, like fucking up and like being like, oh,
I hate that too when people get mad at the dealers and they're like, it's your fault. Like, you're not
I know that guy sucks.
I'm just like, dude, fuck you. But then you also don't really want to do anything because you're like, this guy's kind of crazy. So I'm not gonna be a whole white knight. Like, you put your hands on maybe, but like up until that, you're like, I'm just like, can we get security over here? Yeah,
dude, it's I've never got bit by the gambling bug, man.
That's good.
I tried to be a bookie for a while.
Whoa.
I tried, and it was just like...
Yeah, but where were you getting your lines from?
It was like my friend knew another book. It was like a sub-bookie thing where I was like sending them kind of just bets, basically. But it was my job to like collect them all.
Really?
It was just my friends. It was just my friends. And then
but what about when they don't pay?
So here's what happened. They were like, I don't watch sports like that, so I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So they would just, if they lost, they would call they would just leave me voicemails all weekend, being like, put another one, and they just kept doubling down. And then eventually, like, some of my friends owed me money, and I just got to the point where I was like, I'm not taking your money for this. And I just like told the guy, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I just felt bad. Like, if you like sell something to somebody, that's like, yes, you gave me that, but to be like, yo, the Bears lost, you owe me $250. It just, I was like,
and you actually have to collect it too.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do. Yeah, exactly. That's the big thing, man.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, East Coast sports gambling culture has always been there. I don't know. I mean, I grew up here. I don't remember thinking or hearing like other I guess I grew up in a Bible Belt area, so they wouldn't be doing it. But I don't remember a lot of money changing hands on college football. But now these days, college football is actually even more where the action is.
I could see
because
that,
apparently it's like there's the mismatches or whatever. There's like underdogs, and you know, for somebody who hates gambling, I know way too much about gambling.
I had it's a love-hate relationship. It's that and weed too. You don't know a lot about weed. You don't know a lot about weed though.
I don't know a lot about the experience of weed, but
have you ever smoked weed?
I think I smoked weed when I was very drunk when I was in college once.
Okay,
and that's pretty much it.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
What'd you blaze?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's what, dude, you're at a party.
Blue Dream.
Somebody passes you, whatever. It probably was fake. It was probably like not even marijuana. It was like somebody's grass that he'd bought off of somebody else and got ripped off.
Well, dude, the K2 is big in prison. That's like the stuff you're talking about, Spice.
I know.
And that fucks people. I have friends that are like,
lose their minds.
Yes, dude.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think these guys, they'll do anything, like speedballs and shit. And I have friends that are like, bro, the K2 is fucked up.
Really?
You're in jail. You're in like the county jail, and you just blaze K2 and have like an absolutely satanic experience. He's like, dude, it's for real, like terrifying.
I think I saw some videos about that. For some reason, my YouTube feed has been pushing me a lot of prison content. You can go down a serious rabbit hole of prison tube. Shout out to Johnny Mitchell, by the way, the Connect. You should have him on your show. Actually,
what do you do?
He's a comedian. He's like 6'7", but he does this show called The Connect, where he interviews when he went to jail as a weed dealer, and he interviews like other people who were drug dealers, and then also talks about their prison experience. So I actually did his show. He actually likes politics. That's why we talked a little bit, but some of his content is really good.
Dude, it's the best.
He interviews like high level drug kingpins.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, tell me about the story, but then also like, what was it like to be in federal prison or whatever?
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
Dude, I just finished a book about an LSD dealer who got caught in the early 90s. So he got sentenced for like 20 years. Whoa. He never even got caught with acid. It was just he was doing Western
conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. Got a conspiracy charge, 20 years. And it was he was in jail during the race riot, like the crack laws.
Sure.
And he had a altercation with a lieutenant, like one of the guards, and he was a white guy. And when the crack riots happened, it was just black inmates having riots or doing riots, and the lieutenant was like, he incited the riot, sent him to fucking Marion, which is like a super max, and he had to do I think 3 years in Marion. Before he ended up only doing 5 years out of the 20 years.
Right.
But
Well, I think everyone likes prison content because it's like, what would I do?
Exactly.
I thought about that too. I'm like, well, I'm not white, not black, not Hispanic, and everything's
You're
racial
another.
in
You'd be
prison.
another. You're another. That's what it's called.
But how many others are there?
Not a lot.
The other
bro.
Indians in prison are going to be like doctors for Medicare fraud. You know, they're like, hello, doc. You know, like,
I think it's called others. I think it's just like Inuit, Indian,
Inuit.
Yeah, it's like
actually they're probably pretty good, right? They can fight.
Exactly, pretty jacked.
They're good with
numbers.
blades.
Your numbers are not great.
No, it's not good.
So yeah, I think it's like I got so deep into prison shit, but it's like
So then what would your strategy be? My strategy would be getting my parents to put money on my books, right? And then we pay the others for protection.
That's the big thing you can do. Okay. My plan was always to pay the Muslim Brotherhood.
Oh,
so you can pay the Muslim Brotherhood to protect. But then it's like, it is like racial in
But
prison.
I could fake it and I could just grow my beard and say that I was Muslim, right?
Yeah, and you can get you can get the Muslim diet too.
Oh,
you'd have to answer
the
a few
halal
questions.
food. The halal food is better.
Yeah, people do the kosher diet. That's a big thing.
Really?
If you can prove like you're Jewish, and you're allowed to switch your religion every like 6 months or so to get a different diet. I swear to God.
I read that Ramzi Youssef, who was the World Trade Center bomber, the '93 bomber. He apparently stayed in his cell for like 10 years straight. Whenever, because he refused to do a strip search because he said it violated his religion. But then apparently he was like, okay, I'm now converted to Christianity.
What?
But apparently the warden and all of them don't believe him. So it's set up for, I don't really know what's going on, but I think he has started to he's finally left his cell after 13 years.
He's a Christian now.
Well, he claims he's Christian.
Are they going to scope out his butthole or like, he's like, all right, I'm ready.
Well, I think you have to do that thing where with the squat and cough or whatever.
Yeah.
He refused to do it. He's like, I won't do it. So he literally, he did not leave his cell in Supermax in ADX Florence or whatever for like 13 years. Like it was totally crazy.
And after 13 years, he's like,
I think broke. Kind of I mean, it's understandable. It's like you spent 13 years. You literally you have never left. You're like, okay,
that's so impressive. I would make 13 minutes, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm just gonna show this guy my asshole and get it over with.
You know, they say they sleep a lot. That was the interesting thing.
Yep, that's a big one.
You can train yourself to sleep 12 hours a day, but it's like, what do you do all day? You know, even when you're awake, like that just sounds.
You work out, sleep a lot, and
in your cell.
Right. Yeah, and it's the guy in the book I read about the LSD dealer, Joel Blazer. He was saying like he got schooled on like masturbation techniques.
Whoa.
Yeah, like just nothing
Yeah.
hands on. You know, he said he never
Right.
was a punk. That was his term.
A punk.
But
Yeah.
he was like going into it, how like you like use a sock and you flip it inside out, so you're hitting like more of the soft area. And then at the very end, he said you'd apply force to the under part of your head. And he's like, and it's so funny him writing. It's like my orgasms were intense and powerful, and it's like, damn.
Yes. Yeah.
But
I mean, that's all he's got. Did you watch the show Escape at Dannemora? It's on Netflix. It's really good. It was created by Ben Stiller, and it's Benicio. It's Benicio, and then the guy from There Will Be Blood, the guy who's the twins. And anyway, Paul Dano, that's his name, Paul Dano. And so those two are inmates who like basically sweet talk this woman, this like obese prison worker, and then they both start a relationship with her, and they get her to smuggle in tools, and then they literally tunnel out of the prison. It's a real life story. It happened in 2015. So I watched the show. It was a fantastic, really good acting. And then I went and read the real story. Dude, it was wild. Like it's a high. They're both in there for murder. Like one guy literally murdered a police officer. The other guy like butchered and kidnapped an old man for money. These are like no shit killers.
Yeah,
locked up in this high security prison in I think it was in North New York, like upstate
like
New
the
York.
Adirondack, up there.
Yeah, it was in the Adirondacks.
Yeah,
and so they were up there, and they were able to get her to smuggle in like hacksaw blades. They cut their way out of their cells, were able to make their way like through the pipes and everything, use a sledgehammer, hammer through multiple walls, and then cut a hole in a drain pipe or whatever, crawl through the pipe, come up out on the other side, crawl through a manhole, and they were on the run for like 23 days. One guy almost made it to Canada. They shot him like 10 miles from the Canadian border. Yeah, one guy was killed. The other guy, sorry, spoiler alert.
What year was this?
2015. It wasn't that long. Yeah, dude, it was like
they shot him at the. Well, I guess if he's that high profile.
Well, they were. A trooper was like, "Hey, who are you?" And he just like took off running. And the other guy apparently was like a drunk. And they would find like hunting cabins, and he would just be like, "All right," and just like, grabbing whiskey. He was just
like a bear. He was like a bear.
He was like a bear. That's a good way of putting it.
He's like Winnie the Pooh. He was just walking around.
Yeah. So that the other guy left him. He was like, "Fuck this dude." He's like turned into a drunk. He's just never gonna make it. And then
he's not gonna make anything of himself.
And so then he got killed, and then the other guy actually almost made it to Canada.
Damn.
And, yeah, I know. He almost. The weird part of the show is it's structured really well. The first like 6 episodes, you're really rooting for the prisoners, and then before you get to the last episode, they do a flashback that shows what they did, and you're like, wait, fuck these guys. Like, this is terrible. Because you don't know what they're in there for. You know they're in prison, but then they're like, oh, he literally murdered a cop. And then the other guy, like, kidnapped this man and tried to extort money from him and fucking, like, butchered him and cut him up into little pieces. You're like, dude,
his parlays didn't work.
Yeah, you're right. I'm like, we gotta get this guy out of here. I'm like, this is not good.
Yo, guys, welcome to the advertisement portion of the podcast. I'm on my motherfucking Assassin's Creed shit right now. You guys can't even see me. I was doing this earlier to ensure audio quality because I'd fucked up the audio of the ads because I was recording through my laptop like a dumbass. Now I kind of like the look now that I got my phone out. All right, guys, here, big thing, and I try to add some tranquil music to the ads because it's kind of jarring. You're just listening to a podcast. You give your brain over to the podcast, and out of nowhere, it's like, hey, listen up, we got enough. And it's like, fuck, man. Fuck, how about a heads up? So what we're doing, we're going to add a little gentle music. You can kind of get in the zone. You can chill. You can kind of use this time to kind of drift off, whatever you want to do. But we are going to do the advertisements. And I got to say, here's my number one advertisement right now. I fucked up and I'm doing shows. Well, hear me out here. I failed to promote my shows in the Irvine Improv, SoCal. I'm so fucking SoCal. I forgot to do the ads or make a flyer for the Irvine show. Oops, my bad. It's next weekend. Thanksgiving weekend, Friday, November 29th, Saturday, November 30th, 2 days, 4 shows. Come out to motherfucking Irvine Improv. And I'll be honest, I'm not just saying this because I'm doing a show. I love Irvine. Irvine was the first place I went to in California. And I was telling someone recently, I'm like, I fucking love Irvine. And they lived in LA. And like, are you kidding? Are you trying to be funny? I'm like, no, why? And apparently everyone from LA just snubs Irvine. Like, I would never. Fuck you guys, dude. Irvine rules. LA's fucking bullshit. Irvine, we're talking Laguna Beach. We're talking motherfucking Newport Beach, conservative ass stronghold down there in SoCal, dude. Shit. Come out. I love Irvine. It's literally the first place I went to in California. I'm very excited to go there. I'm going to bring my whole motherfucking family. We're all going to do Thanksgiving out there. It's going to be sick. So Irvine Improv, Friday, November 29th, Saturday, November 30th. Let's go. Let's show these LA fucking pussies, dude, who's really fucking SoCal. They're not fucking SoCal. They're north of Irvine, bruh. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Take a moment to say thank you to someone in your life, including your therapist if that's someone you'd like to shout out. If you have multiple reads this month, perhaps highlight someone different each time. Well, let's see. Last week, I highlighted my mommy. I'm thankful for my mommy. I was going to do my daddy this week. I'm very thankful for my daddy, but you know what? Know who I'm going to thank this week? Our almighty creator, guys. How awesome is God? Come on now. How awesome is the fact that you can call it the Big Bang, whatever you want to call it. The universe was created out of an infinitesimal, however you say that, a teeny tiny, incomprehensibly small void, nothingness. And the universe has exploded out of nothingness, and that nothingness is the substratum of all that exists today, and it still exists in the universe. And that's basically God. How awesome is that? Thank you so much for that. I'm so grateful. Guys, this month is all about gratitude, and along with the person, the cosmic deity I just shouted out, there's another person we don't get to thank enough, ourselves. It's sometimes hard to remind ourselves that we are trying our best to make sense of everything, and in this crazy world, that isn't easy. Here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself. And that this is the time for a personal endorsement. That's what they're asking for. Yeah, I think, therapy is good. You gotta do something, man. You gotta get outside of your ego. That's the thing that's keeping you in, your egoic struggles of just, I want more, I'm not enough, blah, blah, fucking blah. And therapy is one conduit to escape yourself and to try to forge a better life. Or you can just become one with your creator. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist at any time for no additional charge. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/MSSP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MSSP. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. That's right. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 or more players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Guys, Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineup stays in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half for whatever reason and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Sign up today to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. What? It's guaranteed. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? It's a pretty good guess. Lamar Jackson will pass more than 1.5 TDs? Oh man, cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. What's better than you and your crew, dude, just cooking up hot takes and running your game on Prize Picks? Download the Prize Picks app today and use code DRENCHED to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DRENCHED on the Prize Picks app to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Lucy is made for your nicotine routine and delivered straight to your door. They don't deliver it to your window or just kick it onto your lawn. Guess where they bring it? To your door. It's amazing. Guys, it's 100% pure nicotine and always tobacco free. Lucy isn't like every other nicotine pouch company that's owned by Big Tobacco. They're like the mom and pop shop of pouches. Have you ever heard about Breakers? They are the nicotine pouches with an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and hydration. In case you're thirsty, break a pouch. If you know your pouches, you know that the nicotine doesn't hit in immediately, and neither does the flavor. The geniuses at Lucy came up with a brilliant way to fix both those problems. They put a mini liquid capsule inside each Breakers pouch. And I haven't tried the Breakers pouch, but I'll be honest, Josh Cabazzo, one of our producers, Josh is one of my favorite people. He is the absolute fucking man, by the way. He tried a breaker pouch on this very episode, while he was recording it. And Sagar gave him one. He had one as well. And Josh was like raving about it. I like forgot all about it. He's like, dude, that shit was fucking awesome, by the way. He liked it. So I can't give you a personal endorsement. I haven't tried it, but Josh has tried it and I trust his word. And he loved the Liquid Surprise. Let me tell you guys, he said it perked him right up. Guys, let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/drenched and use promo code DRENCHED to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co and use code DRENCHED to get 20% off. And here comes the fine print. The Lucy products are only for adults of legal age. And every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. You know what we all need to get more of? Off our ass. With bold flavors and a refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew will get you off your ass and have you feeling like you're on an actual mountain. A mountain where the weather is always perfect, your friends are ready to hang, and a day of epic proportion awaits. They gotta fire the guy who wrote that fucking piece of shit paragraph. Guys, but guess what doesn't suck? Look how fucking blue that is. What is this? Voltage? Look at this. Look at that shit, dude. You can put this in a Windex bottle and go, it's like, no, I'm just drinking Voltage, everybody. Don't you squirt it right in your mouth. Look at this motherfucker's crazy. And you go, maybe I fucking am. Let's get off our ass together, brother, and hang on the perfect mountain. A day where epic proportion awaits. That's what I like. That's the kind of fun times I like to have with my friends, guys. When we all drink our Voltage and our Baja Blast, you know what game we play? You know what fun and competitive social activity we engage in that I'd like to talk to you guys about? Let me tell you guys, man. Look, when we drink regular Mountain Dew, I told you already, we wrestle. When we drink the fucking blue ass, look how fucking blue this shit is. When we drink this, oh my God, dude, we play a secret game. Me and my friends, we play a secret game in which, how do I say, we all take our turn doing something fun. And the last person to, dare I say, arrive at the party has to chug the Voltage full of, you know what the fuck I'm saying. You guys don't even know what's going on there. Voltage Mountain Dew. What the hell is I? Sorry, guys, I blacked out. I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. Guys, the mountain is calling. You should answer. Grab your friends. Grab an ice cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold and do the do.
Yeah, the prison culture shit is like fascinating, man.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I've
You
never
wanna
went,
go.
but I kind of was like, damn,
Yeah.
I kind of wish like
How much weight were you moving then when you were selling marijuana?
decent amount, like
Pounds?
yeah,
Whoa.
yeah.
Right. So
Like,
you could have gone. You actually could have gone.
I could have went to
arrested.
jail. In Philly, it was
Yeah.
like you could have 5 pounds and you wouldn't really, you could like get locked up, but you wouldn't do like a sentence at
Okay.
a certain point. But
Uh,
that's what I've heard. But like before though, like in the 2000s, it started getting more lax.
Right.
Lax. By the end of it, nobody was going to jail for weed. They even like the cops would find a half pound of weed on you and
They
just be
just
like,
don't care.
Jesus Christ, and just take it and make the fuck out of here.
How does it all work though? Like in terms, not the cost. So were you selling to other dealers because you had enough?
Yeah,
Okay.
eventually it was like I would
Right.
do both. You would get like the way it would work is you'd have to like. I remember I like saved all my money so hard, then I eventually saved up $1,600, and I bought a half pound, and then I
Okay.
got to like actually make money off of
Yeah.
it. And then eventually I started. You just get it fronted to you. You like find somebody and they would front me like 30 pounds of weed.
Yeah, that is the interesting thing I read from Johnny's podcast. Is like there's a lot of consignment,
A lot of consignment.
in the drug business,
And then double consignment. I would get something fronted and double consign it to other people, and then you have to kind
But
of
what
like
if he doesn't pay you, and then you got to pay the guy?
you tell them, hey man, I'm falling on tough times.
Did you,
That's the thing. It's like you're never supposed to meet that person, like the top level person, because they want to keep like an air of like, because they're gonna tell the guy like, yo,
Right.
tell him I'm fucking murderer. But I met the guy.
Really?
It was it wasn't.
Were you ever physically threatened? Did you ever see weapons?
I got robbed at gunpoint. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What was that like? What happened?
It was surreal. It was
Yeah.
like I got threatened with a club one time. That was embarrassing. I gave in to the club just outside. This guy was like, I want to fucking hit you with this. And I was like, all
Like
right,
what
dude.
kind of club? Like a handmade
Like
club?
a
or
wooden, just a fucking like a 1920s police officer baton, dude. He was like, but I was in West Philly, like trying to buy
you
Percocets.
you did the right thing. Yeah,
Yeah, and there was like
yeah.
7 guys around me, and I was like, seriously, guys, where are my Percocets? And they were like, dude, we'll fucking bash your brains in. And I was like, all right, you guys can keep the $200. You win. You win this round. But yeah, it was that. And then I had a guy one time, he got robbed and blamed it on me. I think he just took my money, but he came out, like we were in an apartment. He was like, something's got to, he like cocked a gun and walk towards me. And I was like, oh shit. That time it was just like everything just goes super slow. I remember just being like very slow, terrified too. People were like, dude, if someone pulled a gun on me, I'd fight. It's like I was frozen, totally frozen.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
fight or flight. Yeah, it's
exactly.
totally
Second time
you got robbed twice.
Oh, well, that time I got like, I like paid this guy money to go get something and bring it to me. And he's like, I got robbed after you gave me the money. And I was like, bro, it's fine. I was like, it's all good, man. He's like, nah, man, this is fucked up. And he just fucking like cocked a gun and like walked. He was like, did you do it? And I was like, how the fuck what are you talking about?
Oh, like you
did I
would
set
have
him up?
set him up. Right,
but I was like, why would I do that?
Oh, man.
Whatever.
Wow.
But that was the whole thing. And then the second time I was in an apartment. And it was like someone had owed me a bunch of money and I was bringing them more stuff. So I had like the money they owed me and like about 4 pounds of weed. And he was like, going to give it to some other guy. And then this just dude comes up in a ski mask with the kid who was like supposedly his customer. And the kid set it all up. But that one I was like, I remember everything slowed down again, but I was able to read their faces. And the kid I knew was very much afraid. And the other kid, I was like, he's pretending to be afraid. And then once the guy with the ski mask left with all the money and stuff, I was like, You did that.
Did you beat him up?
I started choking him.
Good.
Pretty badly.
Yeah,
and then the kid I knew was like, stop. Because I was in like a blind rage. I was, you're almost just, you have like a gun in your face. You're terrified.
That's horrifying.
And I was just fucking just holding this kid's neck. Like, I know you fucking did that. And the kid's like, stop. And like, thank God I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think I wasn't like violent like that though. I was never, that was the only time. It was like almost all my money.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was pretty
How did you
fucked
get
up.
out of this? What got you out of it?
This podcast,
Really?
This
Is that
podcast.
really?
I wasn't on Percocets. I was selling them. I never.
Oh,
I
you were
was
selling Percocets.
I'm not a vice. I was never really like a vice-ridden man.
Got it.
Porn, obviously,
So you
is
were
my
a
downfall.
true you were a true leech on society.
I absolutely. I had no.
You honestly should have gone to prison. I'm not gonna lie. I think you owe 3 years of your life to the state.
I think I should actually. But now I do service through high-paid
That's true.
podcasts.
No, yeah, that's right. You're doing a service.
But I do. I honestly. It's not like a sexy tale because usually you have the redemptive arc of like then I got caught. But I was pretty principled. Like I remember like I was like pills are evil. I didn't know anything about them. I'm like, oh, these are very addictive. Coke, I was like, this stuff's no good either. But weed, there was a thing where it was like, this is good for people. Because I was smoking so much of it. I was like, weed is good for people. I was like, people need weed. It's good for you. I thought it was good for me. You know, I was obviously killing it in life. Just like fighting people for Percocets.
People need to be more like you. You know, like if you smoke weed, you can also end up in West Philadelphia with a club in your face. That's what marijuana will get
That was
you.
for pills.
Okay,
that was for pills.
You were
weed
high at the
was
time.
chill.
You were high.
I was high forever.
There you go.
I remember I tried to start a policy where with every customer I would smoke a blunt with them, and I ended up smoking like 9 blunts, and it was just
how do you even function?
I didn't. I wasn't functioning.
Oh, so do you still smoke a lot? You said no.
No.
Right? Okay,
now
so,
it's like very. I honestly try to. There was a big impulsive element of it, but now I've been trying to do it where I've tried to do this for years. Where like I almost like incorporate it into a meditation practice. But then you get into it, you're like, well, why do I even need that if I meditate? You know. So that was kind of like, well, so now it's like special occasions.
how much better did your sleep get?
So much better. That's the thing with weed.
Yes.
You can even say like, well, I'm sleeping better, but your REM sleep is trashed.
Yes, thank you.
That's
what I was
true.
about to bring up. I was
It's
like,
totally true.
There's a lot of people. There's a big psyop by the weed guys who are like, "Oh, if you smoke a bowl right before bed," and it's like actually you're nuking your REM sleep. It's like people, you know, when you get on an airplane and people are like, "Just gonna have a glass of wine just to go to bed." And I'm like, actually, you're
not
getting
sleeping.
way shittier sleep. Yeah, it's like you're actually not sleeping at all.
Dude, nobody wants to hear this.
Semi-conscious, but it's
Nobody wants to hear this. I tell people all the time. It's
absolutely
like, and the weed does fuck up your REM sleep. It's
Yeah,
like,
no,
you
it's
don't
empirical.
dream. You
It's
don't
true.
dream. You
Yeah.
don't dream. And everyone knows when I stop smoking weed, I have crazy dreams. Like that's because your REM rebounding.
Interesting.
Same as alcohol. Oh, dude, it's like I was completely like when I was younger. Also, I was making a living off it. I'm like, weed is awesome. This stuff rules. Everybody needs this stuff. Everyone needs to be selling this stuff under me. That's what happens with heroin, though. Heroin, if you're using heroin, you try to convince people to do heroin because you want to start selling it to them, so then you don't have to pay. Really, it's that's kind of yes, it's very, very evil. And you're like want to inject them too. Yeah, I remember someone explained that to me, and I was like, someone offered for me to sell heroin. I said no. I said no, thank you, sir.
That's evil. I mean,
Heroin's evil. The pills were evil, but no one knew what the fuck they were.
Yeah,
I came out of it. I got a
is Percocet the same as oxycodone?
oxycodone. Yes, Percocet
okay.
is oxycodone mixed with acetaminophen, Tylenol, basically.
Okay.
So oxycodone and oxycontin and Percocet are the same thing.
Is it the same strength? Is that
no?
What was the whole like pill thing in the 2000s then?
So
that was OxyContin, right? Or OxyContin?
It was all of them.
Okay,
It was Percocets. There's a bunch of them. It's Vicodin was big.
That's right,
Vicodin
yeah,
was hydro something. Hydrocodone.
Hydrocodone. That's right.
That's Vicodin.
Right.
And Vicodins were less desirable. If you had Vicodins, people would be like, oh, fine.
Right.
But Percocets, people wanted them. And then the Oxys came out, which was
Yes.
just like a 5 milligram Percocet, 10 mil, whatever it was. Oxy would have been like 40.
Yeah,
but
it was like 80, right?
it went up
I
to
read
80.
I read a book about it, and I remember I watched some documentary about the Sackler family. That shit is evil, man.
Dude,
in
it
terms
was.
of the cash programs and those pill mills, and they had total knowledge.
Dude.
That's really what led to the heroin spike, all the black tar heroin
Big time,
and everything.
dude. And
'cause
it
these
wasn't-
people had no idea what
Dude,
they were taking.
it wasn't just the Sacklers. It was
Yeah.
every doctor in the country.
Absolutely.
Dude, I got
Yeah.
like, I would give a sore throat from my college campus, and they're like, do you want Percocets? And I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
But when I was like 19 or 18 and I got my wisdom teeth out, and my friend was like, bro, I will pay you. He's like, you'll get, if you get pills, I'll buy them off you. And I'm like, whoa. So I'll give you $200. I'm like, what? I was like, for sure.
Yes.
I hate medicine. You can
Yeah.
have my medicine. And dude, and it was like, I remember coming out in like of my wisdom teeth in a haze, but remembering like, I asked them, I was like, what am I going to get? And they were like, oh, we're just going to give you like ibuprofen. I was like, I'm a real baby with pain. Is there anything else I can have? And they're like, yeah, we'll give you like, I think it was like Percocets or
That's
hydrocodone.
insane.
And they just gave me a full vial. And
That's horrible.
that was the whole thing that set the whole thing off, is I made $200 off of it. And then
Right.
once I went to college, I was like, I got to find more of those things. And my friend was like, yo, these things are awesome. So I didn't do them.
Interesting.
And then I
Yeah.
watched firsthand there was like this apartment complex. Because at a certain time I ended up finding like, I would get like 2,500 Vicodin at a time.
Whoa.
And I remember my friend would bring them into this like apartment complex, and they all get distributed throughout there. And I watched this whole like little ecosystem of people like degenerate.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, and I'm like 19, 20 at the
Right.
time. And I was like, this is fucking bad.
No, it's bad.
So
Yeah, the pills, man. That
I
is
should go to
really
jail,
scary.
dude. I'm such a piece of shit.
You just got to give back to society.
I
man.
do
All right.
though. I do.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's I'm
Okay,
all
good.
service now. I'm all
All right.
service.
All right. As long as-
I'm wildly overpaid, but I'm a wildly overpaid servant. That's all, dude. For real though, the thing is like, this is why I like I've been researching the world religions a lot. There's a really good book called The World's Religions by Houston Smith, and he goes into like the connective tissue between like Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, everything else, Islam, and I do like growing up in a Christian like environment. They don't sell it very well to young people. It's like, this sucks. It's like it's just a bunch of shit you got to take on face value. I started researching Hinduism when I was like. I mean, it's a classic stoner move to just be like
Yes,
so
it
high
is,
and be
yeah.
like, oh, dude.
There's nothing more annoying than white guys who are into Hinduism.
I know.
Then George Harrison wannabes. Just like, fuck off. Bro. In India, they literally laugh at you. They're like, yeah, we'll take your money, but
I know.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
But it is a beautiful religion.
Yes, it's
It's
a
a
good one,
very,
yeah.
and it was like for me, it gave me a concept of God from researching it from that angle. And I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense.
Good. Yeah, that's great.
But I like their relationship with pleasure from what I've read is like, it's not as, and correct me if I'm, it's not as like forbidden. It's like, yeah, if you want pleasure, go get it till you're tired of it. Or is it?
Kind of. Well, it's hard to say, man, because even calling Hinduism a religion, obviously it is a religion, but it is intrinsic to the land of India, and I'm really convinced of that. As in, like the practice of Hinduism, like you don't go on Sunday. You just have temples everywhere. People stop on their way and off from work, like at the end of the day for special occasions, for little stuff, like you'll go and you'll ask a blessing. It's not in the Abrahamic faiths require like rigid practice, and this is much more like a part of daily life. So the religion itself doesn't like say yes or no or whatever about, I don't know, pleasure, hard work, etc. It doesn't like prescribe rules, but the Indian culture definitely also plays like a huge part of it. So I'm not really convinced. That's why I think
see what you're saying.
Buddhism is a religion. I think that actually is a religion, and that's one that can transpose into Western society or whatever. But Hinduism, like you really got to be in India if you want to be
That makes
like,
sense.
a real Hindu, I think.
Yeah.
Or at least practice it in the way that it's meant to be practiced. You can try, obviously, and everybody can do their own thing. But there's a huge amount of people who are Hindus who are atheists. They don't even believe like in God.
It's more, you're saying it's more
Yeah.
of a cultural
It's
kind of
it's part of
practice.
the Indian culture. Like like when you're there, it just makes sense. Like that's how people practice their lives. Like each village has its own deity. The way that there's a certain type of blessing, or what they call it a puja, which is a ceremony, which is the type of puja that you would do for this milestone in your life or whatever. Whereas like Abrahamic faiths is like on Sunday or on Friday we pray.
Yeah.
We pray 5 times a day, and we do it at this time. And the the whatever the chant of the prayer, and with the meat that we eat is like this. Where even amongst Hindus, like 40% of Hindus are vegetarian, but 60% are not. So there's no yes and no on life or on how to live. Like it's just It's just very much part
This
of
is
the
what
culture
they're
over 8,000, 9,000 years.
Yeah, that is it is such a funny stoner move though to be like, dude, I think
it's so
use
annoying.
2 mushrooms.
And
You're
yoga.
dude,
It's
I
like
think
girls
I'm
who
a-
are into yoga. It's like, shut the fuck. They're like, my Shavasana. We're like, oh.
Yeah,
God.
that is tough when they start
Yeah.
you start like 4 Sanskrit words and you're
Oh my
like
God.
like
Yeah.
Sukha.
Yes. Or the Om tattoos. You're just like,
Yes.
spare me, man.
I will
Spare
say,
me.
dude, I will
Yeah.
say though, if from like just like a
Isn't that a Hindu? Isn't that the Hindu deity? It kind of looks like it. What do you got going on over there?
yeah,
that
this
is.
might be Shiva.
That's Sanskrit. That's Sanskrit down there. I
This
can't read
is.
it. Yeah.
Oh, this? No,
No,
this is
no,
actually
no.
English.
Oh,
Dude, this was a
it's
shirt I
written in
designed and tried to
script.
sell as merch, and it's a very low seller.
Yeah, no, shocker.
Yeah, I do think though there's something religiously. Well, let's just say in the United States, it's like Christianity it's cool. It's getting a resurgence.
No, I don't think so. Statistically, no.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's
Yeah.
just the internet memes. I'm thinking
Yeah, I
of.
think you're thinking of trad wife.
I'm thinking of Trad Wife.
If you
internet
take a
memes.
look at the stats, Christianity is never. I mean, not Christianity, religion. We have never lived in a more secular country.
Yeah.
Honestly, even coming back here is shocking. Like to Texas in the modern. I mean, I literally grew up here. This was a deep Bible Belt state. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
And to watch it become like cosmopolitan is weird, honestly.
Yeah.
Even when I go back to College Station, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't feel the same. I don't live there anymore. It's just kind of different, but it doesn't just feel the way that it did back then. And in general, stats wise, the evangelism, Catholicism, all practicing religions, and the rise of people who just call themselves spiritual or whatever,
Right.
has never been higher.
Right.
And that's really, I mean, the right wing trad people are the ones who blame that for
Yeah, yeah.
where we are. But honestly, kind of to make it political, I think that's why Trump is the first like real secular president. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows, like
He
Trump
loves the
is
Bible. What are you
not
talking about, dude? He
religious.
loves the
Yeah,
Bible.
but it's like, yeah, he loves it so much that he sells a copy. But 30% of the people who voted for Trump are literally pro-choice, like over 30%. That's crazy, right? If
Yeah.
you think about it in terms of the abortion election and all of that. So the mass secularization of America has made being conservative, like just so, though the Texas I grew up in, George W. Bush was literally my governor.
Yeah.
That type of conservatism, it's fucking gone. Man.
Oh
It's
yeah,
totally
for
gone.
sure, for sure. I think they're to bring back to my main point. I think I do think like there's a lot of people who have left organized religion who are going towards kind of spiritualism, but no,
Definitely.
everyone has a very. I think now it's like everyone has a very strained relationship. If people are trying to like practice some form of like God in their life,
Mhm.
I do feel like researching other religions helps people kind of like conceptualize it because you're like,
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
I'm not going to do this, but you can read that and like, yeah, that kind of makes sense if you
Of
look
course
at it
it
like a
does.
giant
I mean,
conscious.
and then even
universe.
then, I mean, I could defend. There's
What
a
are
lot
what are
of-
your stances on that?
what religion?
Yeah, religion, God, God, like
I'm
believing
not.
in God. versus
I'm not religious at all. I mean, I grew up around here, so I still have a very like side eye view of a lot of the Bible Belt stuff.
Yeah,
But I think it's good for people now that I've been removed from it for quite a long time.
yeah,
There's it's like the South Park episode about Mormonism, where you're like, look, this is some batshit crazy stuff, but the truth is like they're living a better life than you.
Yeah.
You're like I mean, so it's like maybe we're the crazy ones, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They're the ones who believe in Planet Kolob or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
they have 9 children. They're really happy. They help each other. The Mormon Church has no debt. They make sure that you get very cheap education at BYU's. If you stay in the faith, they take care of you. They take care of each other. I grew up around a lot of Mormons. They're some of the happiest people I know. They have like multiple children. They settled well. They seem like they're doing like really well in life, and they get to they have a big community aspect where you always have just dozens of people who share your values, who are around, who if you're out of town, somebody can come watch your pets, or if you need help with your kids or whatever. So like they're the winners in life, man. Like that's what people need to take away.
That's
Like-
my my question is
Yeah.
like that's what I've been trying to like read about and like think about a lot is like what is the grounding force for like people's lives, and if it if it dissipates into like if there is no, that's like what religion has been
Yes.
forever, and
Well,
now
it's
people
a
are like
way
people
to-
the antidepressants, like all that, people are now like you have to like back up the molecules in your brain because you're sad because your worldview is
Absolutely.
inherently kind of bleak.
Very, very well said. And also, I mean, like wokeism, quote unquote, is a religion. Any
Yeah.
sort, or being anti-woke is also a
It
religion.
is, yeah.
Politics is a religion.
For
so
sure.
religion will find a way in its life, whether you find religion or not. The thing is about it is what I, would advocate for is that I think, especially in big cities and like in elite circles, there's a real sneering at religion,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't look at it in the way that I just said, where it's doing quite a lot of good for people who are in the faith and the community. So for me, I'm just like, look, do whatever you want to do. And actually, having lived all my entire adult life in mass secular America, we have a lot of problems, right? Like the gathering place of the secular American is the bar. It shouldn't be. That's weird, actually. Like waiting until you're in your mid-30s to even try to start having children, and then by that time, like, I don't know. I just think
they
there's
should
a
be
lot
turning
of
it into
choices
Christ's blood. They should be turning it into Christ's blood.
It's just, there's just choices that you make that make it all about you. And one of the things that are really important about religion is like, actually, no, it's not about you. It's about other people. And so by doing that and by choosing the secular elite path, you are literally pursuing something that is just all about you. It's about the pursuit of your own pleasure, about your own money, about all of this. But it will strip away any of the great things in life that will genuinely make you happy. So if you're not religious, then you have to actually consciously seek that out. And I'm telling you about this. You have children now, right? Like it's probably harder to connect and find like groups of other parents. Whereas if you grew up in Texas in the 90s and you went to church, that's dusted, bro.
You're done. You're done.
Day one, it's sold.
Yeah.
Like someone will be at your house when your wife gives birth. They will have food waiting in your house.
Yeah.
And all that. But if you don't have that type of community, that's really hard.
You're stuck.
The number of people, actually, there's a really interesting like American Family Studies study that shows that the number of friends, particularly among men, the number of like male friends that people have has an all-time low. I think the record number is actually in the 0 to 1 category of people who consider themselves like close friends. And so if you think about it, like in that community aspect, people are lonelier than ever. They're having difficulty really finding a mate. They're really having problems in terms of fostering close friendships. So they're doing what? Betting parlays on gambling in order they just want to feel something. So
Stimulate the brain.
They're stimulating the brain.
Yeah, that is
Exactly.
sad. That's my problem is like there needs to be some sort of cohesive organizing force, and most of them are negative. Where it's like again, it's like fucking Proud Boys, all that. You get like the things are, and it's not even like a lot of it I think does come down to the media because it's like it's like you don't have to take your worldview or your life prescriptive path to the media, but it's like they are experts, they are this, and it is looked upon as like this is an authoritative source of information.
Yeah.
And it's just mean. Like everything you see is just like, this guy is such a loser. Let me tell you about this guy. And it's on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's bad for people mentally. Like,
well,
a lot.
definitely, but I will give that's a bit cope also because people blame the media, and it's like, look, that's what people want. Like at a certain point, like
Sure.
it's true. I could be so much more successful, wealthy, and famous if I just did that. I actually am actively giving up.
That's
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying.
that.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's
no,
like,
I know, but that's a choice that I'm making. But the truth is that is what most people want. Most people want to fulfill their base instincts. They want to have that, that dopamine rush of saying, yeah. I mean, honestly, Shane's bit about the Fox News dad. I mean, I actually, the first time I met him, I was like, that really is like probably one of the most important bits you've ever done because it's deeply true.
it's in the vernacular now. People will say, I have a Fox News
I have
dad.
a Fox.
Yeah.
It is a deeply true, like, it's a bit, it's a comedy bit, but that is like an archetype and something that really does exist, like in American society.
No, it is. It's true.
And it's I would flip it and say there are also MSNBC moms out there,
Big
right,
time.
who are just as bad on wine moms and all that. But it is a cancer on American society. But honestly, that's what they want. Like I was talking with Lex yesterday, and I brought up one of my favorite media quotes, and it's from a book called The Loudest Voice in the Room, and it's a biography of Roger Ailes, who was the chairman of Fox News and the creator. And he said, people want to be informed, or so people don't want to be informed. They want to feel informed. And I think that is like the most deeply true thing about media that I've ever read.
Yeah, no, that's true. I guess what I'm saying is like, it's just bad. It's bad because it's like you were saying, there's a financial incentive to be like a major dickhead.
Yes.
Which when I first saw reality TV, I was like, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is creating a pathway.
Right, but it's
being
good,
just a
though.
absolute.
Good.
It's so
yeah,
bad.
it's so good.
It's
though.
so
yeah,
bad.
no, it's bad for America.
If
but
you were
it's fun to
smoking weed
watch.
back then, you would have been like, "What the fuck, dude? This is so fucked up." I remember I was just high watching reality TV. Like this is modeling a type of behavior that also pays off genuinely,
Narcissism,
which
yeah.
taps into people's own like biological drives. And I was like, this is not good because that's what's being modeled. That's what's you're pushed unconsciously to do. And like you were saying, like, dude, if you wanted to like really double down, any of us can do it.
Oh, it's
Hang a
so
couple American
simple.
flags back here and be like, let me tell you something,
Yes.
motherfucking.
I get so annoyed and be like, "You're a grifter" or whatever. I'm like, "Bitch," I could make way more money.
I
if
could
wanted to.
grift, yeah,
it's
if I
like,
wanted to
if I
grift,
wanted to grift, I would grift you bitch.
Oh.
yeah. Be like, if I just sat there and be like, "Look at these liberal tears that are flowing from their faces.
I'm telling you, all the channels, you put an American flag behind you,
so
you
simple.
sell your merch hat, and it's just
especially
like,
if you're me, brown guy, be like, brown guy loves Trump, and
I know, dude.
so bored. The problem is that I get bored, man. I find those people so utterly boring that I have no interest in even talking to them.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is humiliating.
But you could make a lot of money. I've
a shit ton of money.
Especially if you're a black guy is the top of the market value. If you're a black guy with a red hat, let me tell you something.
Right.
It's like
you'll be famous overnight. MAGA memas will be sending you $5 a month and being like, "Have you seen this nice young man?" yeah.
But yeah, I do hope we can like somehow move to something that animates people other than like. Do you think people will ever be animated other than their base instincts by the masses, or do you think there will be like an actual like
Gen Pop? No, Gen Pop will always be the same.
Always be.
Yeah, look, America, society, these rise of mass media has always looked exactly the same. Like people think it's worse now than it ever was. Total bullshit. If you go back and you look at the yellow journalism era, like it was insane. People were slamming each other, and I mean, imagine this: America's news in the 1800s was literally political. Like when you would read the news, you would read the Kentucky Democrat, or you would read like the Kansas City Republican. Like your literal newspaper was the party that you supported. And one of the ways that people would get interested and instigate politics is socialists and others would be like, we're starting a socialist newspaper because the news itself was a political vector.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. The news.
Because I was totally bought into like, dude, it's never been this bad.
No, absolutely not. It's bullshit. So like the thing is that in the old days, the rise of yellow journalism, of the penny papers, people like William Randolph Hearst and others, and before him, like Joseph Gordon Bennett, it was all sensationalism, tabloid. That's where it all comes from. And that was overwhelmingly popular. What happened is that the old days that we romanticize is actually a very unique time in American history where the vast majority of Americans were getting their news from the network TV. So in the 60s and the 70s, everybody romanticizes Walter Cronkite, all this stuff. Let me tell you something. The news was just as fake back then as it is today. It's just that, thank God we have the internet to be like, no, it's fake and it's bullshit. Because, it's a slog, but people should read it. It's called Personal History by Katharine Graham. She ran the Washington Post. She was the owner of it. And her father bought the paper, and then her son is the one who sold it to Jeff Bezos. But so she ran the paper for basically her entire life. Her husband ran it, then he committed suicide, and she took over and ran it for decades. And if you read that paper, actually, if you've ever watched the movie The Post, it's directed by Steven Spielberg with Tom Hanks, and it's about the Pentagon Papers. Meryl Streep plays her in the movie. And it's really like when reading that book, you're like, she's getting politicking with Kennedy is at dinner and he's like giving them advice on how to write in the paper. And her husband, who is owner of the Post, is friends with JFK and he's skewing the coverage in a certain way. So everyone has this romantic nature about the 60s and Cronkite. It's like, no, they were just as partisan as people are as today, as Rachel Maddow and these people. But America didn't know. They had much more higher like institutional trust, and cable news exploded that obviously after the network era, and then the rise of blogs and everything. But people were really romanticized this, the news was fair and balanced. It's like, no, it's not. That the news is what got us into Vietnam.
True.
No, it wasn't fair and balanced. These people were writing columns and justifying all this bullshit. They knew what was happening. They didn't report any of it. It was only in 1968 we finally tell everybody the truth. By that time, 500,000 Americans are sitting in Vietnam. JFK, we used to go and hang out, and all of his secretaries, McNamara and all these guys were hanging out in Georgetown, which is a very rich neighborhood, at their fancy ass mansions, secretly telling them what they should write in their papers. Like, dude, it's always been like as corrupt. People just didn't know it. Yeah,
I feel like Trump did kind of crack the he parted the veil to be like,
absolutely.
Yo, this is actually a lot of this is bullshit.
The roots of Trump are there's a famous clip, 2012, Newt Gingrich was the Republican debate, South Carolina debate, and the opening question, even I will admit it's a crazy question. They were like, Mr. Gingrich, he I don't know the circumstances. He's on his third wife and he divorced his wife. I think she was going through cancer or something like that. Oh, it was terrible. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. And it was the second time that he'd done something like that. Anyway, so that was the opening question. And Gingrich is like, let me tell you something. That was one of the most disgusting acts. And the mainstream media is a direct participant, something like that, in the Democratic Party. And the pop, as you would say, from the audience, roars. Like you can hear it on the microphone of like,
Whoa.
and all of that. And I watched that clip because all the ingredients for Trump were there the whole time. It's just
Yeah.
like you have to go and look for it. Like Michelle
He was the first one that
Bachmann.
tapped into that.
Well, he was the first one who attacked this media on the stage and flipped the debate and made it about them. And it was a referendum. It was like, no, fuck you, actually.
Whoa.
And you could see John King is kind of taken aback because he's never experienced this before. And now it's the norm in Republican politics. People
Sure.
expect it. At that time, it was crazy. It was shocking. But yeah, I mean, I watched that clip a lot because I'm like, that's it. That's where Donald Trump, 2015, the famous debate, and Megyn Kelly's like, Mr. Trump, you've called women pigs, he's like, only Rosie O'Donnell. And they was it's
Everyone. Yeah,
the
crushed.
crowd just roars, man. And it's like, that was it. Like, that's the moment that he won, in my opinion, in the 2015 primary. Broke politics forever. But the
It's funny.
ingredients were there.
It's
They were
funny.
all there.
It's funny that he was like that was like one of the first dominoes that toppled the mainstream media, and he was just trying to get a fourth wife. He was just trying to get some new. He was like, bro, nothing's gonna stop me.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
the entire mainstream media.
No, I think what it is in all of this is that the base has always hated the media. It's just that the politicians, they need the media. I mean, this is another like fakery out of all of this, is that the idea that the Republicans hate the media, like nobody craves media attention more than Republicans.
For sure.
Specifically mainstream media. There are some good ones out there who actually understand that the news is bad and like don't want to give them access. But in reality, like as much as they say they hate it, like they want to be on CNN, bro. They like it. They
sure.
want to go on Fox. They
For sure.
I don't know.
So speaking of the politician stuff, so Matt Gaetz, that's something I can't like wrap my head around. He got appointed. That's his name.
Attorney
Gaetz.
General. That's
Attorney
right.
General.
Yeah, he's nominated to be the Attorney General.
And what the big thing about him is that he might have trafficked kids.
So man,
That's a weird
the
one.
details are very strange. So and to be fair, the DOJ did drop their case against him.
Exactly.
So they investigated it and they leaked a lot of the details. So he was never convicted or even prosecuted.
Yeah.
Of any of this. And there genuinely was some weird. I'd have to go back and look at the details, but somebody was trying to blackmail him for like $25 million, and that's how some of this stuff came out. But like empirically, he was definitely like hooking up with like very young girls and like hanging out with sketchy people and getting blackout drunk, like all while he was a congressman.
Yeah.
So the detail, as I understand it, 2021 to now, there's been a 3-year investigation in the House Ethics Committee about Gaetz and his behavior that was instigated by an attorney who filed a complaint claiming to represent an underage girl who says that she slept with Matt Gaetz whenever she was underage. Now, obviously, though, she may claim that, but as I understand it, the feds did investigate at least some of these claims, and of course, they haven't brought charges.
Sure.
So the report itself was due to be released, I think tomorrow, actually, from the day that we are taping. And that report now will not be released because what happened is that Gaetz got nominated to be the Attorney General, and he resigned as a House of Representatives. So the House Ethics Committee, 2 days later of his nomination, was supposed to release that, but they will no longer release the report because he's no longer a sitting member of Congress, considering his resignation. So there's some background.
That's kind of sketchy, yeah.
Look, I mean, his behavior has also made it a little weird in terms of, first of all, just what he admitted to is wild.
Also,
Right, yeah.
why would he be appointed though? It almost seems like he'd have perhaps dirt on DJT.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? To be
No,
like-
I don't think it's a dirt thing, dude. Gaetz is just he's one of his biggest.
He's one of his bros?
Not bros. He's just one of his biggest defenders on television. He's
Yeah,
one of those
yeah.
people who like anything goes. Like he's all in. I mean, look,
It seems
I get
tactical. I'm saying to
be
abandon
right.
Congress,
I don't
have a
know.
higher job,
Right.
2 days before potentially the shoe
Look,
drops.
you could read that into that if you want.
That's what I'm
but
thinking.
I mean, but at the same time, like, why would Trump go along with that scheme then, right? Like, because for this, Trump would have to be like, okay, Matt, I'll bail you out. But
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's hence the dirt. I don't know. I'm just wildly speculating.
I don't
I'm
think
trying to
so.
figure out why appoint somebody with such a sketchy record.
Oh, I mean, I think that the case
'Cause
is
he was
simple.
your
Gaetz is a
outspoken-
true believer.
he was
That's
a
what
true
it is.
believer,
He's been
right.
all in for Trump for 8 years. He was his biggest defender on television.
Mm-hmm.
Trump loves him. He always goes on Fox, and Matt Gaetz is always like, I'm all in for Trump. To be
Gotcha.
fair, Gaetz is an interesting guy. Like from my perspective, he has generally been anti-war. Like he's been sponsored a lot of stuff with progressive Democrats about trying to end forever wars.
Okay.
He's somebody who wanted to pardon Edward Snowden. He
Mm-hmm.
opposed the Julian Assange stuff. You'll like this. He's very pro-weed. He's one of the most pro-marijuana members of Congress.
I don't care
one
about
of
weed
my,
anymore. I like mushrooms. Right,
Okay,
by the
all
way.
right. But well, we're coming for that next. He's actually quite libertarian, is the way.
Okay.
He's pro Bitcoin, you know.
I
And he's
see,
been a
I see.
heterodox guy for a while. So I'm not that worried about. People hate Matt Gaetz because, I mean, look, he's kind of an asshole, like media wise.
For sure.
He's got a reputation about town, and he likes to come in and he likes to mouth off. Can we put it that way?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? He's got a bad, like the Republicans hate him because he's the one who mounted that coup against Kevin McCarthy and got Kevin McCarthy kicked out. So a lot of the establishment types hate him, but Trump loves him because he's loyal, and he wants him to like root out a lot of the people who are in the Department of Justice who he would see as like, deep state or enemies or whatever.
For sure.
And I honestly think Gaetz would do that. But I mean, it is crazy because AG is like a real dude. You're the chief legal officer of the United States. Like you have to determine the legality of president's actions. You direct the Department of Justice and the FBI, like what type of cases we're going to prosecute or not. Like you make the call on some like really big decisions. Like you have to write the legal justification sometimes for what the president is doing, work with the White House counsel's office. I mean, it is a real no shit job. Like it's a real job.
I'm glad you said that because that was my next question.
I had to go look it up.
Attorney General?
I had to go look it up because I was like, yo, does he even have a law degree? But he does. Yeah. But I was like, I don't know if he's a lawyer,
That's fucking wild. So it is we're about to enter what's the Senate and the House are Republican now.
Yes, the
They'll
Senate
get
and the House are
two
Republican.
Supreme Court picks, most likely.
Yeah, Alito and Clarence Thomas. That's right. They'll probably resign. Although Sonia Sotomayor, one of the Democrats, she's 70, but she does have type 1 diabetes. And Democrats tried to get her to resign because they were like, hey, you need to go so that Biden can appoint somebody. But she pulled an RBG and she's like, I'm not going anywhere.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn, because they
Crazy.
wanted one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're going to enter
believe
into
that?
what's up?
Can you believe that she did that? These people are such narcissists. She's
I can totally believe
so
that she did that.
believes in power and like not even being part. I mean, I don't really care, but it's more from a liberal perspective. It's like if you think this is fascism and the end of democracy, I'm like, bitch, then resign. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
You're literally type 1 diabetic, 7 years old, and you're obese. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? Look at a fucking actuarial table. Like,
Dude, it is sad though if you think about like even like what happened to Biden. It's like being that old and being driven by kind of like the power drive until like your brain just falls apart. It's pretty fucking terrible.
I mean, I say it's sad, but it's also like pathetic and deeply egomaniacal and narcissistic. And that at the end of the day, that's what it takes to be a politician. Like that's the truth. He, by the way, has been the same his entire life. So I talked about this book yesterday with Friedman called What It Takes. It was written in 1988. It's about the 1988 presidential campaign. That's where Biden had that plagiarism scandal. He's been an egomaniacal narcissist, chip on his shoulder guy for his entire life. So, what they say about when you get old is it just makes you more of what you already are.
Oh,
like if you're already an arrogant fuck, like you're just going to be more of an arrogant fuck when you're old. Like that's
so sad, man.
It's true. Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
That was my overarching point with religion. It's like I feel like as a society, we need a vehicle for self-transcendence so that you don't become a just 80-year-old walking around demented, like trying to lead the country.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's like genuinely like self-idolatry. He's like, I am the one. I will stop Donald Trump. I'm the most important figure. Nothing is bigger than me. It's pure narcissism, and he's chiefly responsible for being a terrible president, but also for the loss of the Democratic Party. It really, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, if I were them, I would be freaking out. I would be so furious. I mean, nobody has fucked their party more than Biden since George W. Bush and his handling of the Iraq War.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think the future of the Democratic Party is going to look? Because I thought the same thing. Like, dude, if they don't I think they're going to need an outsider. They're going to need a Democrat.
Yeah,
Trump.
that was my prediction. Not necessarily a Democratic Trump, but if we're in an era, so for example, like Obama, like rose from the ashes, right? Because he was a no-name senator. He gave it a great speech in 2004, big fucking deal. Okay.
Yeah.
But then he came out of nowhere. He had anti-war credentials, and Harry Reid is actually the one who was like, "You should run for president." He's like, "You're not a good senator." He's like, "You don't like it here." He's like, "Get out of here. Go run for president." He's the first person who put that in Obama's mind. But with the rest of them, like if we look in the past, Bill Clinton also came out of nowhere in 92.
Right.
We had 12 years of Republican rule.
Yeah.
1980
Was
to
it Reagan,
1992. It was Reagan and it was Bush. And Clinton, I mean, he was a no-name governor from Arkansas, but he created this thing, the Democratic Leadership Committee, which like basically moved the Democratic Party much more to the right and made it more of like a neoliberal thing. And that's how he was able to win like a major victory in 92. So somebody will come. I think that person needs to come from the ashes, though. I think anybody tainted by the stain of like wokeism from the 2010s and the Great Awakening onward, on top of like the Biden and all the trans shit and all this, plus, you know, this whole last decade has been a nightmare, right?
It collapsed in on itself.
And it collapsed in and of itself. So anybody really tainted by that at the national political level, they're going to have a tough time, in my opinion. That's why, even though I think Gavin Newsom's very talented, and I think that Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, Pete Buttigieg, and all these other people, I think that they, you know, they like to believe that they could overcome it. And maybe, right? Like Trump could fuck everything up and he could be a nightmare, right? In terms of his popularity, and it'd be easy to beat him. Anybody could. But if he doesn't, and if he governs even reasonably well, 40-50% approval rating, you're going to need somebody with like real political entrepreneurship and skills to be able to rise out of that.
Yeah, and they kind of, the Republican side has a kind of like I feel like a deeper roster. They could people they could tap that are also like, you know, like RFK. He can like talk. He's not like a total robot.
Well, he's not
a
a
politician.
Republican, right? So he's whatever
He's independent.
he is. He's an independent. He's endorsed Trump. Yes, although I don't think RFK will ever run again.
I don't think he will.
This is it for
I don't
him.
think he will.
Yeah.
But I'm saying they seem to have like a Tulsi Gabbard. Like they have like a
Right.
deeper roster of people. Maybe that's just me because I'm biased. But it's like
maybe.
I don't know if anyone like like you're saying like these like Newsom, Buttigieg is like. I really think they need a new person.
Absolutely,
entirely.
you need somebody who is totally untainted by the system, and that's real. That's what Obama was. That's what Bill Clinton was.
Yeah.
I mean, the appetite for. Although I will say the appetite. The thing is about the Democratic base is now it's rich white people, and the thing is about rich white people is they don't really give a shit about a lot of stuff. They just want to win. Like I'm serious. Like they are just like we want to win. They're like, oh, you need to say what? Okay, whatever. You know, like say it. Just win. So it is a little different this time because this time around, as whatever narrative they're sold about what will beat Trump, that's who they're going to nominate.
Yeah.
That's why they nominated Biden. They didn't care what he stood for.
I know.
They were like, we need Trump out of here.
Yeah.
It was that's
like,
what it's going to be like.
Bring out the dancing black ladies.
Yeah, they'll do anything.
They threw
Yeah.
everything. They were like
my God.
Beyonce, Cardi.
So were you as shocked as I was that they get paid? I had no idea. That
I
these
knew they got
celebrities
paid.
I had no idea.
I didn't know.
I was so naive. I thought celebrities just did it because they supported them.
If they didn't get paid, it's because they're at the Diddy parties. So like you better show my W-2.
Yeah,
it's just so weird to be like
$1
we're gonna have
million to Oprah. $1 million.
$1 million, dude.
She's a billionaire. What the fuck do you need $1 million for? What are we doing?
I mean, it's a nice little treat, though.
Yeah, sure, but
We'll give you a
but
mill.
it's like,
He's like,
don't
all right.
you already support Kamala? Like, just do it, you know. And that's the thing is, I don't think they're getting paid to say something that they don't already believe. But if you already believe it, just do it for free. Like, why would you? Like,
I don't
what?
think they believe it. You can't.
Maybe you're right,
You
bro. I
can't
don't
guarantee.
know.
Like, there's no way. There's no like. You know, again, it's like Republicans. I'm not like a big Republican guy, but I really like zoom in on like the liberal Democrat, like the modern liberal Democrat type. It's like I don't really see a coherent vision at all. It's too bought in on the postmodernism, which is in itself is self-contradictory and goes nowhere.
Definitely.
So that's kind of what happened to them. They like it was their like Trump was the right's Energizer battery pack. Theirs was like the postmodern racial power versus worldview.
Yeah, it's very odd.
And it just literally collapses in on itself and it contradicts itself. Like, there's no hierarchies. It's like, well, who do you prefer, Trump or Biden? Well, there are hierarchies, all that bullshit. But it's like they're gonna have. If I were a Democrat like leading the campaign, an outsider candidate, and I would come by and be like, if you're a Trump supporter, I still love you, man. That's all they have to. That's all they have to do.
Yeah,
all they have
I
to do.
mean,
Like,
they
bro, I
made
love
the
you.
whole dictator fascist playbook that they ran this time. That was very stupid, that they did. So I don't know how they're going to do it, man. I really don't. I have confidence that they will figure it out just because people are too triumphalist, as in, I know I was talking about the 2008 Obama wins, right? They're like, we will never lose an election again. James Carville literally wrote a book called 40 More Years about how the Democrats will be in power forever. Demographics are destiny. It's over. It's a white party. And now Donald Trump has won 2 out of the last 3 presidential elections. The last one, he won the popular vote and he won Latino men. He basically completed a racial realignment of the U.S. politics.
It's insane.
Imagine going back, to 2008 and telling me that. That was only 16 years ago, man. It wasn't that long ago.
And Obama lost
Like-
his juice when they trotted him out to be
was
like, go yell
cooked.
at young black guys. And
Right.
like, dude, it just is like,
It's
man.
like you sneering, just like that's the thing. I have Obama derangement syndrome. Like I hate Obama, and like not for the reasons that like white boomers hate him. We're like he's destroying this country.
I was working construction when he got elected, and it was a somber day for like
For the
just
boomers,
white, like boomer age white guys. They'd come into work and be like, they were just mad he was a black guy.
Yeah.
That was it. They were just they came in and they were going. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. I think there's something very sinister about wrapping yourself in that like cultural identity. And
I
like,
call him the Instagram president. He's this fucking, he's just this cultural elite. He's everything that he supposedly stood against. And
I know.
the way that he governed, he came and he was supposed to end the Iraq War and the financial crisis he was supposed to solve. He fucked both of those up. We had a horrible economic depression for the the entire period. I mean, look, if you want to look at the wealth inequality, the explosion, the lack of wage growth, that all happened under Obama. He got lucky that Mitt Romney ran against him. All the ingredients to be able to beat him were there. Romney just ran a terrible campaign. And then immigration in 2014, he overinterprets his mandate and he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to do whatever I want on immigration. And he goes all in and he does DACA. And honestly, that is responsible for Donald Trump, because what he did is he both polarized the liberal base on the issue of immigration, which was amnesty first, maybe border security sometime in the future. But he also energized the Republicans who were like, oh my God, when they have power, they're going to mass legalize literally millions of illegal immigrants. And that it leads to the 2014 executive order leads directly 1 year later, Trump comes down the escalator and says, no, we're going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it. So there are direct consequences for these actions. And immigration is the number one reason, in my opinion, why Donald Trump was elected. Like, there's no question. Even
what do you think about the population collapse that's going to come when all like the boomers go and
I
they
think
have
that's
less kids?
fake.
You don't think we're going to have to be just importing people?
No. And I think that's a very convenient explanation. I mean, look, at a certain point too,
if the numbers dip, how's it not real?
No, what I'm saying is that the idea that first of all that we're gonna have population collapse and we're like Japan is just like not true. But there's first of all, but the second is there's this presumption that the only way to do it is to import like basically like second class citizens from South America.
Did you ever read The Next 100 Years by George Friedman?
I have not read that book. I think I'm familiar with the thesis.
That's his big thing. Yeah,
right. So I mean, this is a very popular way that people justify like mass migration. First of all, like there's another way, which is you could try both economic and social incentives to change the picture. But the other thing is there's something like really sick about this idea that the only way to like that the birth rate itself is the only thing that matters and not like what the actual makeup of the United States is, and all the secondary and the secondary tertiary effects of what mass illegal immigration like does to the U.S. economy, to U.S. society. It makes a mockery of like U.S. law. And like the entire way our immigration system works is just totally fucked up. Like people don't understand. Like our immigration system is totally unique in the Western world. The entire rest of the Western world has basically merit-based immigration. We are the only country still left on family-based chain migration. So what that means is that, so I'm a U.S. citizen, right? And so, because I was born here in Bryan, Texas. But the way it would have worked is my parents who emigrated here, their family members have a preference in the U.S. immigration system if they were able to sponsor someone to come to America. It doesn't matter whether those family members are they college educated? Like, who are these people, right? Like, do you have a degree? Like, what's your job? Like, are you able to support yourself? That makes no sense. If you migrate to Australia, they're like, they have a points-based immigration system. So they're like, a college degree, cool. Oh, you speak English? Much higher up at the list. For sure. Right? That's how it should work. It should be merit-based. It should be based upon, are you going to benefit the America. Now, people get very squirrely about this because it is contrary to the way that what I talked about earlier, the 1800s mass immigration.
Yeah, that was my mom's dad.
Okay, but
no, it was the 1900s. Sorry.
Right, but here's a good quote that I heard: "We don't make immigration policy for our grandparents; we do it for our grandchildren." Just because in the 1800s, we had what? Industrial Revolution. We needed a shit ton of basically just like bodies to sit there. And, you shovel. You can swing a shovel? Cool. You're fucking Slovenian? Who cares? Whatever. But that's not how the U.S. economy works.
Yeah.
Like, the U.S. economy is a service-based economy. Our manufacturing jobs are high-tech manufacturing. Like, you need to be able to speak English to function in America. 12 million people illegally entered this country in the last 4 years. The 27% of them don't have a high school diploma in Spanish, by the way, so they're barely literate in Spanish. 20-something% of them have barely completed a high school education by Latin American standards or wherever they came from, and then only a small portion are actually college educated. So look, be real. Look at the stats. What is that going to cost the United States? Are they bad people? Absolutely not.
For sure.
But it makes a mockery of this idea of, first of all, of just order, like in terms of being able to just come here, no matter who you are, you can just raise your hand, fake, say, I fear for my life.
Yeah.
You're an economic migrant. Let's all be honest. And if you interview these people, they'll tell you the same. They're like, I came here for a job. I don't begrudge you. That's fine. But the point is that you can't allow that system to be in place where basically the cost of the bill of all of this is going to come down to us. So we need to dramatically shift to an actual merit-based immigration system. That's number one. But two, what we really need to do is also consider, after that period of massive immigration, of European migration, we had social chaos in this country. We actually were becoming like ethnic. There was a whole war over this. Teddy Roosevelt gave a famous speech. There is no we're done with hyphenated America. And hyphenated me like I'm a Slovenian American. He was like, no, we're all Americans. We need to be done with hyphenation. And that led to a complete shutdown, basically, of U.S. immigration from the 1920s up until the Immigration Naturalization Act of 1965. That immigration moratorium actually allowed for assimilation, where the term white became popular because it's like, as you know, if you read a book, ask white Protestants, were Irish people white in 1920? Absolutely not. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, they're like Lithuanian. They're like, you're Lithuanian. You're not white. Okay. That was bad. Just so we're all aware. That was bad.
Yeah.
And so the change in that, we need to go through that again. Like, we need to completely change the way that our foreign-born population has never been as high than previous from the late 1900s, right around when we had the same immigration moratorium. We're signing up for the same levels of problems where our heterogeneous population is just way too removed from each other. We don't have a common civic understanding or any of this. And the truth is that if you just keep importing 1 million people per year, and then the vast majority of them are illegal, no disorderly process, like, dude, this just breaks the civic foundation of the country. Like, it's just not going to work. And I say this to somebody whose parents came from India. Like, but that's my point, is I'm here now. I'm a citizen. Like, I have to care about my children, my grandchildren. What country are they going to grow up in?
Yeah, and it's also it's like, so it is kind of a bullshit thing to be like, well, since your parents came, you have to decide. It's like,
so
I can change my fucking mind.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, they left the third world so I could live in the first world and I can make up my own mind. It's
amazing.
The best part of coming to America and to the West, anybody who is from like a Western or a non-Western country will know this. In non-Western countries, you're kind of like told what to do. There's a path, and there's a rigid class system, and there's like, this is how we live our life. And like, that's the best part about coming here, man. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. The social mobility here is better than anywhere else in the entire world,
dude. And that was the problem. I went to school for social work. Like when I got my graduate degree in social work, and you were like, if you brought up social mobility, the teachers would be like, that's a myth.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. I was literally like, it's not. They're like, that's a myth.
Does wealth give you privilege? Absolutely. But actually, I think I read that people who are born in the upper quintile, if you look at the across generations, after like 3 generations, their kids are usually back down.
Shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves.
Yeah,
that's
shirt sleeves to shirt
3
sleeves.
generations.
Yeah, exactly.
It does have extreme money has a degenerative effect.
Oh, absolutely.
It's obviously incredible, bounty to be born with a ton of money, but dude, it like kind of warps people big time.
One of my favorite books is The Fall of the House of Vanderbilt, and it's exactly about this. And it's basically, I think 100 years after Cornelius Vanderbilt died, his generations, not a single one of them was a millionaire, not one. And the first Vanderbilt after Cornelius Vanderbilt to make anything of himself was one of the only Vanderbilts not to be born with money. His name is Anderson Cooper.
What?
He is the first Vanderbilt, member of the Vanderbilt family, to not be born with money. The first one who was broke, who made anything out of himself.
What the fuck?
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Anderson Cooper is the first successful Vanderbilt in like 200 years.
Since Cornelius,
the Commodore. I've
heard he's a Vanderbilt, but it's always like he's a CIA.
Yeah, his mother was Gloria Vanderbilt. Yeah. And I mean, and you read their stories, the money just destroyed them. It destroyed their family.
Yeah.
All of them just became like degenerate dilettantes who became, they were addicted to alcohol and drugs, and they would blow it on these gigantic houses, and they got caught up in the British rat race, and they all became dollar princess. I love the term dollar princess.
What's a dollar princess?
A dollar princess is, in the 1800s, American industrialists were filthy rich, and the way to have social mobility is they were like, we need to get our daughters married to English lords, but the English lords were broke, and so they were like, oh, we'll marry your kids. So Winston Churchill's mother, she was a dollar princess, Jenny Churchill. They hit the Duke of Marlborough. I forget exactly what his name. It was another Churchill. I think it was Randolph Churchill. He married one of Cornelius Vanderbilt's, I think it was a granddaughter or great granddaughter. Same thing. It bailed him out, so he literally he could rebuild his house. And after they got married, he was like, "By the way, I don't give a shit about you at all." He's like, "I literally don't care."
Yeah, do whatever
He's like,
you want.
"I married you for your money." He's like, "I'm just gonna go do whatever I want to do. Like I'm just gonna go live my life." Yeah,
That's
that's no, it's
crazy.
horrible. It's horrible. Her life ended up. It was a nightmare, unfortunately for her.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's also very rigid. I know if you have generational wealth, it's like you can get cut out of the will. Then you're fucked. 'Cause
Yes,
you're
there's stuff
accustomed
like
to
there's
it.
all of that, and then you have that house, the Biltmore, down in North Carolina, the largest house literally ever built in the United States. It was built by a Vanderbilt. It's just you read about them like this guy would have like 7 marriages in the course of his life.
Dude,
and,
I did work in Arlen Specter's estate. He
Yeah.
was dead, and it was I think
the
one of
senator
the
from Pennsylvania.
yes,
Yeah.
I painted his house.
Really?
Me and my friend helped paint his
Did you
house.
ever ask him about JFK?
Huh?
About JFK?
They were
Did you ever
dead. He
ask
was
him?
dead. I should have
Oh,
asked him, but that's why I think he got a nice little estate.
Yeah.
But the dude, it was just like his surviving family members, and it was for real like sad, man. Like we were in there, like using oil primer, and like the lady came in and was just like, "This smells." We're like, "Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
it's fucking
Right.
oil paint." And
Uh-huh.
she's like, "Well, I have a party coming in." We're like,
You should have told us
Okay.
that. Yeah.
and dude, she started spraying, just walking around as if you were like an inanimate. She would just spray perfume in the room, and if you were standing there, she would just go like right in your face.
Jeez.
My mom was a maid for the DuPonts, and
Yeah.
she said it was the same thing. She was a maid at the house of the guy who was like it became like a psycho killer wrestler
Really?
guy.
Wow.
She was down there, and she said it
Yeah.
was like, she was like, I remember it being like, it was a very sad, like, it was just like a sad vibe in the house.
I mean, after 100 years, yeah, basically destroyed them all.
Yeah.
And it is very sad because most of them, the burden of, and it's not just them. I read another book about the Astor family. I mean, John Jacob Astor was like one of the first like real millionaires in the United States. He was a slumlord in Manhattan. He was like this Dutch slumlord. He was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
He's like, how many of you immigrants can I charge $20 today?" And his family, like they become these titans of society and all of that. And one of his great grandson, I think, died on Titanic. He was the richest man on the Titanic, and he died on
What?
Titanic. His 19-year-old wife, who had just impregnated, she got off. She had a baby. He became the Titanic baby. Because he was literally in his mother's womb whenever she was saved off of the Titanic. But basically after him, and he was, by the way, ended up being like some degenerate playboy. It's just like it didn't really live up to it.
That is the funny
Yeah.
thing. You can achieve, it is very funny though, to be like, you can achieve at the highest level just so your grandson can just like crash a boat while he's
Yes.
like coked up.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
One day.
it happens
Just
to all of
blow
them.
up on a river.
The Rockefellers, John
Yeah.
John D. Rock. He was kind of a psycho, actually.
Yeah,
But his son actually was relatively successful. He seemed like a good guy. His son's Nelson Rockefeller, he was the vice presidential nominee for the Republicans, governor of New York. But after that, things start to drift off, and now we're in the the 5th and 6th generation. You're like, who? It happened to the
Yeah.
Kennedy family, dude.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the longer you go down the Kennedy family, you're like, is there anybody impressive in the?
Yeah.
I saw JFK's grandson going around the DNC when I was there, like filming TikToks and stuff, and I was like, bro,
That's the
like
kiss of
fucking
death.
John F. Kennedy's grandson.
I know.
I want to shake him. I'm like, live up to your
Fucking
goddamn father, your grandfather.
That's got to be a crazy family to
Yeah.
be a part of.
Oh yeah, I just want to be like, if your great grandfather, the patriarch, could see you, he'd be sick. Like
Oh,
looking around,
just fucking-
dancing. Yeah, he's like taking selfies and be like, "Hey guys," like it's like you suck, dude.
Just
Yeah,
Lady
like-
Gaga, like
yeah, I was like, dude, this guy blows. He's a dandy.
it is
Yeah.
it is absolute dandy behavior.
Yeah.
It just does suck because it's like you want to do well, but it's like if you kind of like if you just try to go for the absolute top,
Yeah.
it does like if without a vision of some sort, you just end up just kind of like
I think that anybody who comes into even like a modest amount of money, like you probably need to do some serious thinking.
You
and
do.
you really need to be like, okay, like what is my life going to look like?
look.
Children, like
This is why
how does
people
this
need to
work?
sell a lot of weed when they're 20.
Oh, really?
I did this. I had the hero's journey. I came
Yeah.
into like I would make like $4,000 a week and just be like,
Holy shit.
dude, I was killing it. Well,
4,000
not-
times.
I
you
lost
were
all of it. I lost all of it.
4,000 times 52 is how much? That's 200 something $1,000.
As like a
That's a lot of money.
25-year-old dude, and I got to like I got
And
to
that's
like
all
the,
cat. You're not even paying taxes. Yeah.
I
It's
pay
like-
taxes. No,
Oh,
you get the ego inflation, and then like I got the rug swept out from
Right.
under me. So that was one of the best experiences of my life to
Good.
lose all to
Right.
get like the ego pump, and then to have it just ripped away from you. Because otherwise, yeah, dude, if you catch that like it gives you the thing, like when things are going well, I have an understanding, like,
Yeah, you
they,
think you're a boss.
they can definitely not go well very quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
Also, I would just say I've met a lot of people who are like super wealthy, and all of them are pretty weird. Like
Yes.
every person I know, every person I've ever met with 100 million more net worth, I'm like, dude, you're a weirdo.
Well, you
Like,
can't
yeah, it's
connect
like
with
every
anybody.
time-
You can't
Yeah,
talk about,
yeah.
like, if you even broach certain subjects,
Right.
80% of people are going to be like,
You want to know funny? I was
Must be
talking to
fucking
a guy,
nice.
and I was like, yeah, you know when you're in an airport, and he's like, oh, I haven't been in an airport in 20 years. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, man.
I was like, oh, because you fly private. I was like, I've never even been on a private plane. And I was like, that's a crazy. It was just so casual. He's like, I
Yes.
haven't been in an airport in 20 years.
I know.
I was like, whoa. Yeah,
Like,
it's just like,
okay.
what a life. Yeah. Like, what does that even look like?
Yeah, dude. I
Yeah.
was talking to somebody one time excited about like flying first class, and he was like,
Yeah.
dude, my kids have never not flown private. And I was
Okay,
like,
well,
oh, I didn't
that's-
even think about that. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, but that probably really fucks them up. I mean, what are they going to do then whenever they have to fly economy?
Either they'll
You
be
know?
stoked. Oh, here's the thing. I remember
Yeah.
I grew up in like a upper middle class suburb. So
Mm.
like I moved to West Philly and I was in the hood and I was like, this is so cool. And then
Really?
like, so maybe they'll just be on an airplane and be like, wow.
Maybe. Yeah, but I mean, you know, sometimes you're, what is it, like C on Southwest, and you're like trying to go for the middle seat or whatever, and you're like, my life sucks.
Yeah, true.
this-
That's
And
that
I'm
would
talking
be-
about plane. And now I'm talking about, you know this, you're Northeast guy, megabus. Like when you're taking like a midnight megabus to New York City to
Yeah.
take the cheapest one, and you're like, well, I'll take a bag, and when I get there, like change in a
Dude,
bathroom and put a
Megabus
new
was
shirt
nice.
on.
Megabus.
Yeah.
We did the China. There was a Chinatown.
Oh, the
bus.
Chinatown. I know the
to
Chinatown bus. Yeah, I
was
know what
just
that
a
one.
pregnant lady driving it. And you're like, what the fuck? But dude, yeah, it's
Stomachs up against the steering
Yeah.
wheel.
yeah, for real, dude. There was for real a pregnant lady driving it before.
People,
But
drug addicts are like freaking out in the back, and someone's like, "Hey, can y'all keep it down back there?" I'd be like, "Shut your goddamn mouth!" Yeah,
that is true. It is.
Yeah.
It does kind of set the bar too high, and then
Oh,
it's like
absolutely.
all you can ever do is be disappointed in life, or you know, like again, I did eventually become very disillusioned with life in the hood. I was like, this is
Of course.
sad. I
Yeah,
was like,
it's
this
probably
is so.
deeply sad. Bro.
It's so, dude. It's
Yeah.
for real, so sad.
Yeah, because it's the systems are like designed to just keep everybody down. And
Dude.
I mean, look, they have individual responsibility for sure, but like also the way the entire thing is designed,
sure.
it's like they keep it contained. Nobody cares. Everyone just wants to pretend like it's over there. And
It's
it
dude,
is
it's
what
for real.
is.
Like
Yeah.
it's like I remember I bought a house in West Philly with my brother when I was like 21. It was like
Wow.
the house, dude. The house was $27,000. I lived in there.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
fucking
that's
awesome.
actually
But
cool.
the
Did you hang on to it? Did you sell it?
we sold it and then
Oh,
it got
yeah.
knocked down immediately. It was structurally, it had a tree growing through the basement.
Yeah.
It was bad. But but I remember like going into like my neighbor's house and they were like, it's funny because when you live there, like there are a lot of like you know, when you grow up, like I grew up, my parents watching Fox News. It's just the news being like, black guys are up to no good again. And it's like, so you get this like skewed picture. And then you meet the individuals and you're like, damn, these are like some of the nicest
they're
people. Then
great
there's obviously there's people like just doing monstrous behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like the first time I walked into somebody's like my neighbor's house, it's like visually jarring because it's like everything's just fucked up. Like there's no symmetry. That everything's built fucked up, and it's like I remember like being you know there's just like bugs
Yeah,
and just being like fuck, dude. That's like it was like just crazy.
I know.
But then it's like that's why you have to do good. It's like the brutal reality behind all of like the let's save everyone political messaging. It's like dude, nobody. You have to bail yourself out at the end of the day. You just have to. It's sad. It's not fair.
Yeah, I look at
But
it
you have to do
two
it.
ways. As in, we have to, of course, like design and move systems to create like a quality of opportunity.
Mhm.
But you also have to have a responsibility given the circumstances. For example, like I don't know, any money, anything that you're working with. I'll often be like, "What a bullshit." For example, and you guys probably have this too. Crystal and I co-own our show, so we're small business owners too, and we have to deal with all the small and all of the paperwork and all the fucking accounting and all the shit behind it is mind-numbing. It's stupid. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's genuinely not fair because these major corporations and all these other people get all of these crazy tax breaks, and we're sitting here trying to figure this stuff out, and it sucks all of our time, and it's super stressful. And I could just be like, "Oh, it's not fair," and it's actually not fair. The people who are small business owners, you get fucked. Like that's the reality.
Yeah.
But you just have to do it, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to spend 10 hours of my goddamn time learning the ins and outs of all of this to make sure I'm not getting ripped off when my accountant
Why don't you
says
just
this
pay an
and
account?
this.
Oh, you double check the
Dude,
account.
you got to double check,
You do,
man. I
yeah,
mean,
that's true,
look,
that's
I'm like you know, Patreon and all this. I want to be a good steward of other people's money. Like I don't
True.
be pissing people's
Pissing
money
it away.
away.
That makes
it's
sense.
not
That makes
nice. You
sense,
can't do that to people.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it's a serious responsibility when you're like, hey, pay me $10 a month. Like, it's not a fucking joke. Dude.
Yeah.
You're like, actually, you have to become a steward of that money for real.
oh, hold on,
like,
man.
Yeah,
If you want to
like-
give their money, man, that's
Yeah,
But no, I agree. You got to give them something. You got to do something. You can't just piss it away.
You're working for them, and you can't just and it's also money. It's like, look, I grew up Indian, so we're fun. We money, it means something. You're taught from a very young age,
Dude.
It's like, and I don't care how much money you have. Like $100 will always be $100 to me. I know
sure.
exactly what
It's
that
$100.
buys, and I know what it means and what it does, and like
It's funny because it's in where I'm from in Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. There's been like a massive influx of the Indian population. Everyone I know, like people have like landscaping companies. They're like, bro, they're like just haggling on the fucking lawn. He's like, their lawns are this fucking high.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, I'm not paying it. It's like my cousin's like, bro, they haggle me to fucking death. It's really funny.
Yeah, fuck him.
But yeah,
All right? yeah.
that's what he gets.
Yeah.
But dude, it is it is like, it's one of those things. I feel like Indian, it's like they were out of the race conversation for a long time.
Of course we are. Yeah, we're the inconvenient minority. Because Asians in general are completely invisibilized by U.S. racial discourse.
Big time.
I mean, look,
But you guys are killing it, dude.
Yeah, we're the
Just
richest
sick.
people in America.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I'll say this: it's not really fair because Indians in America are like so-called like the twice selected elite. And so,
Why do they say that?
Because India's 1 billion people, okay?
Okay.
But the caste system where Brahmins, which is the top caste,
Oh, I know.
those people, so you do know. Brahmins, 40%, I think it's only like 1 or 2% of India. My math could be wrong, so
Yeah.
Indians. But, 40%, so 1 or 2% of India, but 40% of Indian Americans are Brahmins. So that means 40% of the people here are part of the top 1 to 2% already of the Indian caste system.
Really?
Yeah, because they're doctors, engineers, lawyers, people who are highly educated. So part of Brahmin culture, that's where I come from too, by the way.
Okay,
it's on
come
the
from
table.
Brahmin.
But I'm saying our family has generations.
That makes sense. You wouldn't be able to get
of revering like education, family. We don't drink alcohol. We're like, this is how we live our life. Like our life is about family. It's about furthering the next generation. Individualism really as a concept is like not part of that. And that's actually why I think it meshes really well with America is America will drag you to individualism. America will drag you to a little bit of consumerism, a little bit of like, you can be whoever you want to be. But the backstop that you have is like, no, this is not what we do. Like money, we don't spend it on stupid shit. When we have money, we spend it on books, on education. So my upbringing was like, the budget is limitless for anything educational. The budget is like 0 for anything stupid.
For fucking around,
And no offense, white people, but I have noticed you have proclivities for new cars and for nice sneakers.
Check my ride, bro.
And nice kitchens, and so I'll be like, so your kid's got
kitchen's pretty nice.
$25,000 in debt, and you've got a new fucking kitchen. Interesting. In our culture, that shit does not fly.
Yeah.
But that's why I would say Indians are very successful in America because it's like we're both obviously highly educated. That's number one. But 2, I really think the culture is a huge aspect of it. The way that you revere money, you think about family. There are no Indian parents out there who have the money who are not paying for their child's college education. It would never happen. And in white families, there's this weird hyper into like they got this like boomer mentality of like they've got to figure it out. Because back in my day, I'm like, well, have you looked at inflation? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know.
And they're like, well, they'll get it when I die. And I'm like, yeah, but it's actually way more useful to help your child out when you're 18, 19 to 25. Those are the foundational years of your life. So it's a mindset difference. That's
was the one.
thing.
No, dude, I appreciate you saying that. That was the one thing my parents were actually really good about is like, don't go into debt if you ever avoid it at all costs, and also keep a low profile. Like don't try to. My dad does spaz. He has like phases where he has like 57 bicycles in his basement. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But they were and now my parents weren't like educated really. They they went to high school and they got out and that was it. But they were very like that was the one thing I think that's the thing I'm going to copy off of them. They like sent us to like an all boys Catholic high school, paid for our college, and it's like. That's the one thing with my kids. It's like I'm looking for schools for my daughter right now, and it's like I was telling my wife, I'm like, because her mom's big on. A lot of people I know are like the public school is just as good, and it's like, I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. It's like
I'm assuming you live in a nice area. It probably is.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, well,
a lot of Indians,
I think you're probably fine then, man.
But that
I
went
to public school. Yeah.
The public schools around me are. It's like it's newly nice, so the public schools are. But it's like you compare it to a private school. And it's like, I mean, you've done well for
I'll
public
give you
school.
2 cases. I'll give you the case for
It's
and
just not,
against.
my point is, sorry, before
Yeah.
I cut you off, my point is if you can't afford it, you should
Yeah.
spend money on your kids' education.
Oh, definitely.
That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in that case, it's interesting, but more what I meant in terms of that is sometimes people will be like, I don't know, like I knew a girl who wanted to take a graduate test, like study for the GRE, and she was like, oh, my parents won't pay for my GRE test, thing, but they have the money to pay for it.
That's
but they're
crazy,
like, you
yeah.
have to work to go
Yeah,
for your
yeah.
GRE test
Yeah.
prep. I'm like, what? Like, I
Yeah.
was like, who are your parents? Like, like what?
That's so ruthless.
Yeah. In my head, I'm like, that doesn't even fly. Like,
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
but if I was like, hey, Dad, so if I was like, Dad, I need $5,000 for a GRE prep course, and I was like 23 or whatever, he'd be like, absolutely. But if I was like, I need $5,000 to go hang out in Saint-Tropez, or what, it's like, he's like, what?
Get the
like,
fuck
no,
outta here.
no
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
No, that
you know,
does
it's
make
like,
sense.
That's what I'm talking
Well,
about.
and a lot
Yeah.
of the suburb like that I'm from, I've learned that many of the families are just debt. It's just like the whole
Yes,
thing
that's
runs on
true.
a
I'm glad you
giant
brought that
balloon
up.
of debt, and it's like kind of
Americans
terrifying.
are obsessed with debt. Americans are obsessed with consumerism, and I can't. My dad, when he was making good money, was rolling around in a 1988 Mazda with no air conditioning in 150 degrees.
It's such a beast
Texas
move, though, dude.
with his windows rolled down, and he refused to get it. He eventually sold it for $1,000 after he put 200,000 miles on it. So it's like that's where I come from. It's like, do you need a new Raptor truck, Texas? Probably not. It's like these guys. No offense, but if you look at the average car payment, Texas is the highest average car payment in the nation because all of these idiots are rolling around in trucks. You don't need a brand new truck.
Trucks
You
are like
don't need an
$80,000.
$80,000 Raptor. It's ridiculous. Like, sorry, you need a Toyota Camry, or a Hyundai, or like any of these other cars. They're great cars. They'll get you. So I am actually a big proponent of Dave Ramsey for the vast majority of people. I think Ramsey, what you were just saying. I think his like common sense approach. If 95% of people followed their life that way, they would be better off. He preaches like avoid debt. Don't use credit cards and all of this. I personally am a big credit card point fiend, but I pay it by
too.
balance
Me
and
too. Yeah,
all
yeah.
this stuff. But here's the thing. I think what he gets at is what we were talking about with impulse control and all that. It's look at the stats. People can't control themselves. They're only paying the minimums. They're taking out 35, 40, 50% debt or whatever on their APR, HELOC loans and all this. He's taught me about financial products I didn't even know existed. I'm like, wait, so people out there are taking 2 mortgages and then another mortgage on top of that one? How do you sleep at night, bro?
Dude, it's insane.
Oh my God. I actually cannot imagine. So if for anybody out there who's listening, if you listen to Dave and you actually take, at the very least, like take some of the advice to heart. The number one thing is budget too. No matter how much money you make, you still need a budget. And the reason why is you just need to know where your money is going. And you need to be conscientious about every dollar that you spend. So like you were just saying, like you and your wife need to sit down and make a choice and be like, we're sending our kid to private school. That means this is our nut. We need X, Y, and Z amount per month. This is how it looks
sure.
like. And
But-
we're
but
saving,
for-
and this is what it looks like.
I have an open mind right now. I'm like I've looked at like 4 schools,
Yeah.
and it's like I've noticed a huge difference between public. But it's like if I see a public school that works, I would go. I'm not like one or the other. But
so
I've
I
been
went to
like-
both, so I can make the case.
Yeah.
So I was very lucky. So I grew up in College Station. I went to public school for the first 16 years of my life. My last years of high school, my parents, we moved to Qatar, and I got to go to a very fancy private school. They didn't. It was part of the deal.
like
where-
an international,
the
Yeah,
American
yeah.
School of Doha, right?
Okay.
So I went from a school where probably the median income of the parent was like, let's say like $40,000
For sure.
to a school where the median income of the parent was probably like $300,000. something
Like an elite school.
It was an outrageously nice school, and we were flying for school trips. Like everybody there, their parents work for Exxon, and
Dude, that was
all
one of the
this.
schools we looked at. Like, we're gonna send your 4th
Yeah.
grader to France for
Yes,
a week. I
so
was like,
there
what
you
the
go.
fuck? I
Yes,
was like, no.
that's what my last years of high school were like.
That's
and I will
crazy,
tell you,
dude.
I definitely loved it. I loved it, but I would worry that if I had grown up in that environment, and anybody out there, if you've ever interacted with people who are in that bubble, there's a lot of downside to that, man. Like that's when you were talking about the first class thing. We went on a school trip once, and one of the kids had never flown economy before, and we were all flying economy together. He was like 17 years old.
Like, what the fuck
He
is
had
this?
never been in economy class. He'd only ever flown first, and
Yeah.
frankly, he was a pampered little bitch. It's like, and the people like that, like there is something important, and I think about it too, where about the people that I grew up with. I didn't even love them that much, I'll be honest with you, but it was important. I got to interact with people from all across different walks of life. I think public education is very important, and I actually think at a young age too. You know, I think in high school, I could make a really good case if you have the money to go to private school. If you look at the stats, private schools send the vast majority of their kids to Ivy League and to other schools, especially if that's what you want for your child. But K through middle school, it's not really about education.
really
It's about
matter.
socialization.
Yeah.
And so for socialization purposes, I don't really want my children, just me personally, like to be growing up in a bubble. And in that bubble, like I've spent enough time now in elite circles that I can see how dangerous that it really can be to the mind, and to how that person can eventually use that privilege in others. And first of all, they're over-interpreting their own success. Like this idea of like, they'll be like, oh, we're doing pretty good. I'm like, you are not doing shit. Yeah, I'd be like, I'm doing good. You're not doing good. Like, you have not done anything. And
yeah, dude, it is
like,
it is weird, man. That's the kind of the thing I've been struggling with. It's like, you know, because I don't want to be like, get them older and be like, what the fuck? You could have sent me to a nicer school. And I'm like,
Right.
I didn't want you to be a dickhead.
Yeah, but you can also just track each of your children, and like, what if one of them is real? Like, there are different types of schools. There's magnet schools, there's math schools, there's sports, there's drama, there's like all these other ones. Like, you gotta. What I would do is I would be like, okay, well, first of all, again, K through 8 is about.
Whatever.
It's not about education. Actually, a lot of that education, my man, is on you. All right?
Exactly,
So
yeah.
if anything, you're trying to pay somebody else
Yeah.
to teach your kids how to read better. That's about you.
You gotta do
You
it.
need to step up in the house.
I'm fucking. What are you
All right.
talking about, dude? We
All right.
spelled her name the other
But that's
day.
what I'm saying. You got to be keeping that shit up every day.
Tutors and shit,
after
yeah.
school. Not even tutors. You need to be engaged. You need to be making sure that you're sitting there and making this stuff done, because that's where the parent really is the most important.
Sure.
Of course, you know, middle school, high school, when we start talking about SATs, and that's when I think education and the quality of teacher can really make an impact on them. But that's by the time they're starting to become like formed as a human being and may have an idea of what they want to do. But those initial years, I think it's really just about learning how to like be a person in the world, about how to interact with others, following rule, like what does it mean to like live in a society and be in like this ordered weird thing that we call. So that's the purpose of school, man. Like at the end of the day. That's why homeschool people are fucking weirdos. Can we all be honest? Have you ever met a normal one? They're freaks. All right, it's true, man. Like, it's true.
I know a couple people. I know people who are homeschooling right now. They're gonna be pissed at you, dude.
I don't care. I mean,
We met one homeschooled kid.
Sometimes they do it in pods and they're okay.
We
but
met
the
a
rest of them are
homeschool
weird.
kid in my baseball team,
Yeah.
and like we drove him to tears.
Yeah, you should.
It was,
and he deserved it. Yeah, I mean,
it was
like,
so
to be
mean.
honest, he deserved it, dude.
Well, there is a huge
Yeah.
aspect of the socialization for sure.
Yeah, it's important
For
It's
sure. But
very
then it's like with the public schools, like, well, what are they getting socialized into? Then you look at all the other shit they had going on with, like, you know, like when like, don't tell your parents if you want to trans, come to us and we'll send you to
That's
a
fair.
That was the shit that was free.
You're living here in Texas, dude. What are you worried about? You're actually
Dude, you ever
worried?
these schools, dude, now all the schools, I'm in Austin.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
schools
sure,
are like,
sure.
dude, they're pretty fucking, they go pretty hard with that shit. And
Interesting.
that's the stuff that I'm like, but I don't know.
What about the rest of the burbs around it? Round Rock, Fredericksburg, all those other places. They can't be there. I mean, I grew up around here, man. Like that's those people. Those are some Bible belters.
You've been
last
going for a
I
long
checked.
time, dude.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. You're
This
that's
place
not
changed.
wrong.
You left, bro.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you're true.
But that's kind of, I don't know. I went to a wall. We can get out of here soon. How long have we been doing, Josh? Damn, dude, we almost did a Rogan. I'll let you out of here in a second, but
Sweet.
I was laughing. We today we toured because again, it's like I'm going to public schools. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find that's the one thing I will try to give my kids the best in education.
Well, you should. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with doing private school.
but
or any
I
of
will
that.
say today. So I was thinking that I went
Yeah.
to a Waldorf school today. I don't know if you're ever familiar.
I know.
with
I know.
Waldorf.
I'm familiar with what it is.
Dude, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And it was like almost theoretically, I'm like, it's all the stuff I like, and I saw the reality of it, and I was like, no, it was just like almost creepy.
I agree.
There at one point, there's one dude in the tour, no matter what the person said, he would go, oh, that's so important. And like, dude, at one point, they were like, we have climbing trees, and we have trees we don't climb. Those are the climbing trees. And he goes, oh, so yes. And then they were in another room, and they were like, for math, we have a tactile sensory aspect where we have these marbles, and they're actually counting the and the guy literally over marbles goes, oh, yes. I was like, dude, would you shut the fuck up?
That's so weird.
There becomes a point of it where it is like,
There are some millennial.
it's like a fake failure. Like
Yeah.
we did the entire Odyssey school play in 4th grade. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, dude. Like,
There's
who's
some
this
millennial
for?
trends, like the Waldorf. I need to look more into. I'm not 100%.
I think they do well. I think it
Yeah.
has like. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say gentle parenting is the one that I've become familiar with. For
Yes.
This millennial trend of being like they don't say the word no, right?
Yes.
Everything is about redirection. And the Indian in me is like, how can you possibly turn out like a well-formed adult? Like actually a huge. Well, I would say majority of adulthood is learning how to deal with the consequences of the word no.
That's
It's
what
like, oh, you
adulthood
want a
is.
job? Fuck you. No.
There's a
Oh, you
giant
want more
no.
money?
Yeah.
Fuck you. No.
There's a giant no hovering
Yeah.
over your entire life.
Yeah, it's literally like you're like, or you're like, oh, you want to go on a date? It's like, what are 99% of these women going to tell you? No, absolutely.
I know.
You're a loser. Actually,
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I go back. So it's like I grew up in like the rigorous old school, like if you get in trouble, you get hit, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I do think that's not a good idea to do.
Probably.
I think
that's
it's genuinely. It's like I don't think it's the end of the world, especially if you're not like getting drunk and like coming in for no reason. If there's like a rhyme and reason to it, it's not the worst thing. But I do think the punishing physically makes you as a kid like I'm not going to tell my parents anything.
That's
'cause
right,
I don't want to
yeah.
get smacked.
No,
in the
but they
head.
need consequences.
They do need
of a
consequence.
kind, right? Like you
Yes.
need to take away the things that they like,
Yes.
or be like you're in the silent treatment or stuff like. I think consequences are really important because man, when you get shielded from it, and honestly,
Yeah.
even I remember like that first time when you're 22 years old and you graduate from college and you're actually out on your own and you really are. You're like, oh my god, like this sucks. Like you're like, sometimes you make a bad decision and you're sitting there, and you're like, holy
Dude,
and this is on me, and I'm by myself right now. Nobody's gonna bail you out right now.
And I'm
man.
telling you, the worst possible is when you're making bad decisions and it's paying off
Yes.
because eventually it all hits you and you go, oh, and it comes for everybody, dude.
Absolutely.
And you go, oh
Yeah.
man. And the older you get, you go, there's no way. I got to live my way through this now.
Yeah,
and it's
you're
like,
right, bro. Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
very
Well,
important.
dude, thank you so much for coming. I can talk to
thank
you
you for
forever.
having
I
me.
can talk to you
Yeah,
forever. Dude.
I really enjoyed it. This is actually pretty fun.
Dude, thank
Yeah,
you, man.
yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.